Well, there's plenty of Santa hats around the Emirates tonight. There's one Arsenal fan who's not just got a Santa hat, he's got a Santa beard on as well. Did you get my list of toys, for heaven's sake? Honestly.
That is Santa.
I think it is, you're right. This is what he does just before Christmas. Big day tomorrow, getting ready for Christmas Eve, getting down those chimneys. I think he might fit as well. I think he's been to the gym. Anyway, we're getting ready for the teams on their way out. Let's talk about Eddie Nketiah, who starts tonight against his old club. And I would say, Scott Minto, that Eddie Nketiah hasn't really set it alight at Crystal Palace in the way they would have hoped. They paid some good money for him. I think they'd have wanted more of a return than they've got.
Absolutely. And it's disappointing to see, because I like Eddie Nketiah. I think he's got talent. I've seen him in different games playing for Arsenal, that number 9 dropping off, but it's just not worked. I mean, it's difficult. How do you replace Mateta and how good he is and everything that he brings to Crystal Palace? But he's also not really a number 10. So I do think the jury is very much out on whether he's able to show that he can be a real. He's a Premier League talent, of course he is, but whether he can actually do it for Crystal Palace in the top end, because maybe it's that this system doesn't work, maybe it's that sort of second number 9, but who plays 2 number 9s nowadays as well? So the fact he was injured and he missed pre-season, maybe you can look at that, but we're at this stage of the season now, and yeah, he needs to be really showing what he's capable of doing. But I tell you what, when you come up against your previous club, it gives you that extra 5 or 10% for sure.
Yeah, scored here last season. All the quotes were, when he left, that he was leaving because he wanted regular first team football. He's had 11 Premier League starts in 16 months out of the river. So it hasn't worked out as he would have wanted.
And you talk about Mateta delivering. It's 3 goals in 15 games for Mateta. And this is one area where I actually think that Oliver Glasner might have got it wrong. When he's got all these games, and he knows he's got all these games, he's moaning about his squad. He hasn't used Nketiah as much as he probably should have done. Or does he not have any faith in him?
I think it's that. I think he doesn't trust him. He doesn't, whatever you say about Mateta, and boy does he miss chances, but he's such a handful. He's that kind of Nicholas Jackson, that Darwin Nunez, where I'm telling you now, no one wants to play against these players. That they may not be as clinical as they should be, but they're an absolute handful to play against. So he's still a top player. Was it here where he came off the bench for 20 minutes and I'm sure I gave him man of the match, because he was brilliant and unplayable.
Yeah,
and that's what he's capable at times.
That's absolutely right. And he is, but the goals haven't been flying in. And just a quick one on Gabriel Jesus. The teams are out, the fans are getting ready, the players are getting ready as well. Gabriel Jesus coming back in. You said earlier you think he'll play a bit part, he'll be slowly blended back into the squad, but Rory Jennings yesterday on Drive on Talksport described Gyökeres as a dud. So if Gabriel Jesus comes back in, starts scoring, have Arsenal got a £60 million substitute on their hands in Gyökeres?
With respect, Gyökeres is not a dud.
Well, he is so far, surely.
No, he's not a dud. He had something different. He clearly hasn't been exactly what Arsenal fans and maybe the neutrals would be thinking he might be able to do. And yeah, it's taken time, but he's not a dud. But you look at Kai Havertz, he's still got to come back as well. Gabriel Jesus himself, and there's also Mikel Merino, who actually I think is probably the best player for that position at this particular moment in time. I think between them all, again, it's about little pieces of the jigsaw to do just enough. But you have to look after Gabriel Jesus. He's been out for this long. You can't expect him to come in and suddenly go on, now score 10 goals from now to the end of the season. We'll play you 90 minutes. His body's not ready for that.
Is this Carabao Cup going to be the start of Arsenal's famous quadruple season of 25-26, or will Palace become the Cup Kings and back up the FA Cup with this cup this season? 2 strong sides, just what we wanted on Talksport. Arsenal against Palace live with former Cup winner Scott Minto alongside your commentator Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you, and a very good evening to you for a touch of seasonal deja vu. It was in the week leading up to Christmas last year that these two met in the quarter-finals of last season's League Cup. Tie that the Gunners won by the odd goal in 5, and the precursor to a thumping win at Selhurst Park days later that remains the biggest defeat of Oliver Glasner's Palace reign. It's also the only domestic cup tie the Eagles have lost since he took charge in a 22-month spell that has indelibly written his name in Palace history. Able to deliver what none of his predecessors could. Bad weeks have been pretty fit on the ground, but if that pre-Christmas Gunners double defeat constituted one 12 months ago, the last 7 days haven't been much better. Failure to beat the Finnish champions didn't spell European elimination, but it added further stress to an already hectic fixture list. Glasner didn't want to hide his dismay into the manner of the defeat at Leeds at the weekend. He's proved his ability to lift his side from rare visits to the doldrums in the past, but he has to again. Arsenal's win at this stage 12 months ago was the precursor to a disappointing semi-final exit to Newcastle, thwarted again as they aim to lift the trophy they last claimed in 1993. When you're top of both the Premier League and the Champions League, it's clearly not top of the list of priorities, but Mikel Arteta saw firsthand when working for Pep that League Cup success was often the precursor to bigger accolades later in the campaign. Might be regarded as the least important of the 3 home games that close out 2025. It's still very significant. They have Aretha Balaga in goal, Timber, Saliba, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Marino, Nurgaard and Eza, Madueke, Jesus and Martinelli. For the Eagles in their change kit of all gold, Benitez in goal, Richards, Lacroix, Gahey, Cambo, Lerma, Walton, Mitchell, Nketiah and Pino, and Mateta. Got their Christmas number ones, but being top of the tree in late spring remains top of the Gunners' festive wish list. Right now, they are still chasing success on all fronts. So can they down the high-flying Eagles, who, having won the FA Cup, now aim to move within a step of their first ever League Cup final? Arsenal will be getting us underway. They've been turned round. They'll kick from right to left in this first half. Now the ball worked back from the kickoff by Eza, back for Kepa Arrizabalaga, and slam forward into a bitterly cold North London night sky, out towards the far touchline, where Arsenal win a throw that Timber's going to take, hurled forward into the edge of the penalty area, but referee Stuart Atwell has just asked for play to be pulled back. It's Mr. Atwell who's in charge when Palace won the FA Cup final last season, and they will be hoping that that is a good omen for them tonight. So this retaken throw, Timber standing ball in hand, 10 yards outside the penalty area, heading towards Nurgaard, and that comes off him, and it's been given as a Palace throw, although Arsenal still thought that it should have been theirs. So still inside the opening minute here in this latest London derby of a congested season. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0. I'm delighted to say a man who knows a thing or two about London derbies is with us tonight, Scott Minton.
Yeah, good evening, Jim. I mean, it's a great atmosphere here, isn't it? You know, the winners get to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, playing Chelsea home and away. I mean, what a great carrot.
Yep, the first leg at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday the 14th of January. Second leg at home in the first week of February. I understand that it will depend who wins this as to which day that will take place. But all 4 legs of the semi-finals will be live on Talksport in the new year. But right now we're part of the festive 50. 50 live games in December for you here on the Talksport network. As Eddie Nketiah chases a ball that is played forward. Desperate to impress against his former club. Made nearly 170 appearances in a Gunner shirt before his £30 million move south of the river. Arsenal working it forward here with Saliba over the halfway line, back out towards Yuri and Timber, and then Saliba getting the return ball. Goes back for Kepa Arrizabalaga, who continues his run of starting in every League Cup tie this season. Arsenal get it forward. Richards covering the run of Gabriel Jesus, but it was Lacroix that headed away, and then Mitchell will poke it down the left-hand touchline. And across comes Nurgaard, sticks it out of play for a throw that'll be taken on halfway by Crystal Palace. 2.5 gone here on Talksport, and still neither goalkeepers had anything to do.
There's so many individual performances I'm really excited to watch. We talked about Eddie Nketiah, talked about Gabriel Jesus, you know, Evere Eze, of course, against his former side.
And now they will be able to work it forward, and the shot from Madueke stinging the palms of Benitez, who had a much more comfortable save to make than he might have anticipated. Arsenal just working it forward straight through the middle, carving Palace open. And Madueke might have done more.
They absolutely should have done more. They've nicked the ball at the halfway line, quick counter-attack. And Noni Madueke on his left foot, he's 18 yards out in front of goal, and it's a really poor shot. I mean, he's a player I really like. I still don't get the deal with Chelsea selling him, despite it being £50 million plus. I really like him as a player. And even for England when he's been playing, I think it's been brilliant for Thomas Tuchel as well, but he should have done better there.
Now Timber's got some defending to do for Arsenal as it's worked forward. He's under real pressure from Mitchell in front of the travelling Palace supporters at the far corner of the ground, the top right corner as we're looking at it here. Mitchell's pressure was telling. And Timber clears, puts it straight out of play for a throw that Jeff Lerma is going to take. He's making his 100th appearance for his club tonight, as is Gabi Jesus for Arsenal. And Lerma has only missed a couple of games all season, although he's been used as a sub more than a starter. Great versatility playing at the back or in midfield. He is in central midfield alongside Adam Wharton tonight, with Hughes chopping down to the bench. And he has this prodigiously long throw, which is hurled inside the penalty area here. Excellent header away came from Marino, and then there was a shove on Jesus inside the box, and a free kick is given Arsenal's way. 0-0, 4.5 minutes gone here on Talksport.
Sorry, Jim, Adrian's just coming across me there with the Toblerone bar. He's tucking into the chocolate already. But the other individuals that I'm looking at, Adam Wharton, a great talent, great passer of the ball, always looks to try and play forward. And it's really important for him, and in games like this against the big clubs, to show that he is capable, not just of bossing these type of games, but playing for England as well. Mark Gahey, I think, is going to have a really good game tonight if Palace are to go through. And the other one is Miles Lewis-Skelly. I really like him. When he first burst onto the scene, I'm thinking, do you know what? This kid who's sort of naturally a midfielder, but looks like he's been playing left back for years. He's got possibly 100 caps in him, and it's kind of gone backwards a little bit. Obviously, Calafiori has come in, and being slightly biased, I want to see Lewis-Skelly playing. I kind of get it, because Calafiori is a better defender. But how are you going to get better? Only by having minutes on the pitch. But for Mikel Arteta, he can't afford to wait. But yeah, I want to see him getting forward, but also defending really well, Lewis-Skelly.
Yep, Lewis-Skelly making his 7th start of the season tonight. They've all come in the Cups. He's featured off the bench extensively in the Premier League, but he's yet to start one in the league, going back now till May. Ball out of play for a throw that'll be taken over on the Crystal Palace left. To come back to that point you're making about Calafiori in a moment, Scott, but Crystal Palace just shuffling forward, nicking a couple of yards, hurling it up the line in towards Mateta. Arsenal winning it back. Nørgaard, who has also seen very little action in terms of being a starter in the Premier League, but having such a great experience and squad depth, supplementing the arrival of Zubamendi in the summer. He's just laid the ball back here towards the edge of the centre circle, back towards Calafiori. My question is, do you prefer him at left back or at centre half? He's pinged a good one over the top here for Martinelli, but Benitez read it and sprinted to the right-hand edge of his penalty area and was able to get comfortable hands on it to make the claim. Well,
look, when everybody's fit, we know who the two centre-halves are going to be at Arsenal for sure. Saliba and Gabriel, and rightly so. And then it's a battle of Calafiori or Lewis-Skelly, and I just think Mikel Arteta has gone safety first with who he picks. But
now Mateta can get it out towards the left-hand side, and real danger here as the shot comes over the bar. Crystal Palace breaking forward. Arsenal caught really square. And it's a fantastic ball down the inside left channel. Mitchell making his way forward. But he's only scored 5 goals in his career. Perhaps not the player that they would have wanted that to fall to around the edge of the penalty area. He snatched at it and missed the target by some distance.
I'm trying to say that's a left back shot. Or left wing back, obviously. I mean, look, we talk about Lewis-Skelly. I mean, what an opportunity for Tyreek Mitchell there on the counter-attack. Arsenal were open. It was almost a 2v1. And if you're going to have a shot in the end, you have to, at the very least, hit a target. And he's not been able to do that. But that's what Palace are looking to try and do. They'll sit back. They'll try and make themselves as difficult to break down as possible. And then they'll counter as quickly as possible. Really good forward play from Mateta. We talk about him not being, really clinical and that 20-goal-a-season man, which is perhaps why top clubs haven't come in for him. But that's what he can do. He can hold the ball up. He can lay it out wide. And Mitchell should have done better there.
Yep, 9 goals from Mateta this season. It's a rate of 1 every 3 games. Although he had that purple patch early on, he's actually only scored 1 penalty in his last 10 games. That's the only time that he's has scored his last goal in open play back on November the 1st in the game for Palace against Brentford. But not a striker that you can merely judge on his goal-scoring numbers alone. He's putting pressure on Kepa Arrizabalaga here, but the former Chelsea man, former finalist in this competition, can clear. Eza picking it up in the midfield and cleverly just letting the ball drift past him to be able to then flick it past Eddie Nketiah down to the left-hand side for Martinelli. Martinelli back for Lewis Skelly. Inside the centre circle is Calafiori. And he's going to be able to just venture forward over the halfway line for working it into the feet of Mikel Merino. Back he comes for the dark-haired Nurgaard. Down to Lewis Skelly again. Round-shouldered left-back controlling the ball and working it back for Calafiori. Long hair flowing behind him as he lays it out towards Saliba. Saliba in towards Nurgaard. Hurriedly, under pressure, he lays it back for Arrizabalaga, but there's never any danger from an Arsenal perspective, and he can play out towards Calafiori. 9 minutes gone, 0-0, but Palace on the counter-attack, having the best opportunity of the night so far.
Yeah, and just as I was saying, as Tyreek Mitchell, shot over in terms of the left-back role. Mikel Arteta knows it's a big season. There's no doubt about it. This is the least important trophy of the four. And as you mentioned, look, if they only win this, I don't think that will be seen as good enough. But if they do win it, the platform it can give them, what Jose Mourinho did, what Pep Guardiola did as well, about giving them the confidence to go on and then win the bigger trophies later in the season, will be absolutely key for sure.
Calafiori getting it forward. But Mateta ends up with the ball at his feet. Calafiori committed himself. Lewis Skelly, though, there to mop up. Got that away from Mateta. Calafiori comes across and gives him a low profile, low five, just to thank him for bailing him out after the Italian had committed himself. Now Arsenal will be able to build from the back, having the majority of possession, as everybody here would have anticipated.
Yeah, and again, a continuation of what I was saying. Mikel Arteta knows this is the season, so he can't risk it. So who's the safer option at left back? And I think it is Calafiori, but I want to see Lewis Skelly in there and learning on the job, and then getting into that England side as well, and then maybe going towards winning. Well, let's not go 100, let's start with 10, 20, 30 and see what happens there.
Yeah, he's got the ball at his feet now. Still a teenager, Mars Lewis Skelly, who's got 6 caps to his name at the moment, but does boast an international goal. Calafiori turning in the heart of the midfield, playing it out to the right-hand side, where Saliba then plays a neat little 1-2 with Nurgaard. Worked for Timber's run down the right-hand side of the penalty area, but Mark Gahey's across the cover for Palace and gets it away. We're through the opening 11 minutes here on Talksport, and still no score. Calafiori coming to the edge of the centre circle. Back from him to the deepest of Arsenal's outfield players, that's Lewis Skelly. Now to Eberici Eza, taking it forward and making swift ground towards the edge of the penalty area. Tried a little reverse ball for Jesus' run that didn't quite come off. Palace can get it forward quickly again. Ball out towards Mitchell, who's seen a fair bit of it in the early stages. Try to make the most of that battle up against Yuri and Timber. There is the left-hand side that they're attacking down the most. I think Mitchell, a much more natural wing back than JD Cambo on this near touchline. That might have something to do with it. We were looking it up earlier. Cambo's actually only played 24 minutes as a wing back in his career.
Listen, they beat Fulham, they beat Shelburne without Daniel Munoz, but he's a big miss. There's no doubt about it down that right-hand side. There's no Sarr for the moment now with AFCON. So I think it's a real blow at a time where we're talking about as a lack of depth in the Palace squad. They're all feeling perhaps a little bit depleted. So if he can do a job there tonight, that's great. But I think Daniel Munoz actually has been one of the players of the season. And when we go back to what we were talking about there,
Eza, who's more than mentioned in dispatches in that particular conversation. Back from him to Lewis Skelly, Calafiori to William Saliba coming forward. You're with Talksport, and a very good afternoon to all of our listeners across North America as well on Sirius XM FC across the USA and Canada. As Martinelli makes his way inside the penalty area, fires in a low cross that was headed away, has just gone over the dead ball line from that clearance before Canvo could rescue it, and Arsenal have the first corner of the night. And this is a potential problem for Palace when you bear in mind the manner of the goals that they conceded at Leeds, and they're up against a side who are so well versed in set pieces.
Yeah, Adam Wharton looks like he's towards the edge of the box rather than picking up someone at the far post, but just there, just on Martinelli going down the outside, where they don't really have a natural thought-thinking goal scorer. No one got past the front post, so when the cross came in, it wasn't a great cross, it was easily headed out.
First corner of the night then goes Arsenal's way on the left flank, and Eberici Eze is going to take it. In he comes towards the near post. It's a great ball, taking a flick, half clear for Martinelli, who cuts across it with his right boot, and it ends up going out of play down near the corner flag. But it was a brilliant delivery from Eze. The near post flick was divine. From that point on, it was all about who could win the second ball. Palace got it half clear out to Martinelli, and he'll be really disappointed as he cut across that he couldn't score a long overdue League Cup goal.
Yeah, but that's the problem of having a forward and not a tall forward, Eddie Nketiah, at the near post. He's not seen Christian Norgard come from behind him and get that little flick on. He's got to make sure he's always in front of him. And by getting that flick on, suddenly all they need, and Walter Benitez has got absolutely no chance if an Arsenal player gets ahead on it, is on target. So you've got to make sure that flick on doesn't happen in the first place.
Benitez recalled by Oliver Glasner in place of Henderson tonight, a player that they signed on a free transfer from PSV. He was an ever-present as they won the Dutch League last season, so he's, in terms of being a number 2 goalkeeper, he's certainly been around the block and is very well versed in first-team football. He's been a good acquisition, the Argentine international. Not that he's had too many chances to show it, but he's conceded less than a goal a game when he has played.
There were 2 good number 2 goalkeepers here tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, Kepa, the other.
Kepa. Yeah. I mean, you could argue, and I like Petrovic, don't get me wrong, but I think Kepa was brilliant last season. Not been quite the same, understandably, with some of the Bournemouth defenders who have gone, but Kepa, Norgard, both left first team, playing in the first team rather than being here and playing the odd game.
Lewis Skelly plays it back for Calafiori. Now to his right-hand side for Saliba. Saliba plays the pass out towards Timber and immediately sprinted back towards halfway to open up another passing avenue for him. Norgard plays the way that he's facing towards his own goal inside the centre circle, but it releases Calafiori. Richards looked as though he flinched, expecting that Calafiori was going to whack it at him. It just cannoned back off Richards' right foot onto his left. It was good defending in the end from the United States international. As Cattell, the latest Arsenal attack, put it out of play for a throw that will be taken on the right-hand side by Palace. With 16 minutes in. Just a reminder, I'm sure you're aware, but there's no extra time tonight. We'll go straight to penalties on 90 minutes if it is level. But Arsenal have got a very good record in this fixture. They've won 6 of the last 7 league meetings. They, in addition to that, knocked Palace out of the League Cup this time last year with that Gabriel Jesus hat-trick. Here's Martinelli on the left-hand touchline. Works it back for Norgard, and Saliba tells Kepa Arrizabalaga that he's going to deal with that himself, and he trots back and brings the ball under control. Now, these two also met in the semi-finals back in 1993. Arsenal on the way to winning the competition, and they beat Palace home and away. In fact, the only time Palace have ever knocked Arsenal out of the Cup was at Highbury in the League Cup back in 1970. It was the year 70-71, that season, that Arsenal did the double. So in fact, Palace denied them the treble that year. Haven't beaten them in the cup tie since. Yes, the Gunners on the front foot here with 17 minutes gone. Still 0-0 on Talksport between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. Possession 77-23 at the moment in Arsenal's favour. But Palace with that one good counter-attack with Mitchell, just showing that their game plan could be executed to perfection at any given moment. Arsenal with another opportunity to launch a throw inside the Palace box, which has taken a touch, found its way through almost towards Madueke, but it was cleared. Picked up by Eze, working it back through the midfield for Lewis Skelly. Chipped down towards Gabi Jesus, who controls it neatly on his right shoulder. Eze plays it back to him. Jesus inside the box, trying to work the angle. Pino was back to put a challenge in before Richards can clear. with a high skied ball down towards the touchline. Eza chasing after that, actually beaten in the air by Wharton, and Palace will try and bring it forward with Nketiah, but Eza stopped him, and he earns a round of applause for great industry and work rate coming back. He was the deepest of Arsenal's outfield players when he picked that up. Goes back for his goalkeeper, it remains 0-0.
Well, Palace want to keep the ball on the pitch as much as possible, because in open play they're really solid. It's almost as if it doesn't matter about the injuries that they've got. You know, whoever comes in, slots in really good, knows exactly what they're supposed to be doing. It's when there's a set piece, a long throw in, or a free kick or a corner, they seem to be at 6s and 7s, and they shouldn't be. With the height that they've got, the likes of Richards, Lacroix, Gay, Lerma is there as well, Camvo, and yet, you know, that good ball in, which we know how good Arsenal are at set pieces as well, and suddenly, absolutely at 6s and 7s.
Players stopped, and it's a Palace free kick. An incident, I think it's fair to say, that depending on your allegiances, you might have seen in different ways. The Arsenal fans thought there was no foul at all. Glasner thought that Madueke had elbowed Pino. The truth, I think, was probably somewhere in between. The referee just had a little word in passing with Madueke. Now the fourth official, Andrew Kitchen, calmed Oliver Glasner down. A free kick was taken and squandered, and now it's a throw to Arsenal on this touchline.
That was a really poor touch from Camvo, but Mikel Arteta was the nearest player to him. I mean, he was outside of his, you know, what they call it, little dugout.
Yeah,
he was almost on the line. I mean, he must have been feeling his breath down his neck there. He shouldn't be allowed to be outside of his box.
I mean, the technical areas here do extend pretty much to the touchline, and I think that is to accommodate the prowling Arteta, who does certainly put the steps in, doesn't he? Doesn't need to go to the gym on a match day morning because he knows he's getting his 10,000 in the evening. Lewis Skelly's just had 1,000 or so down the left-hand touchline there to nick a few yards before taking the throw. Palace have won it back. Mateta, Pino tried to help it on. Really well dealt with, though, by Timber, who'd followed him in from right back into almost an inside left position. Got it away from the blue boots of Pino. And Arsenal have it again. Played out towards the right-hand side for Noni Madueke. We've reached the 20-minute mark, and neither side have had a meaningful shot on target yet. Might have now, though. Palace winning it back. Pino trying to release Mateta towards the edge of the area. Great tackle, Saliba. Timed it well. Mateta's touch a little bit heavy, and it made Saliba's job that little bit easier, but he was still able to steer it away. Now the counter-attack with Eza. Eza sending a raking ball out towards the far touchline. He's unlucky that Madueke didn't read it early enough to be able to catch it and keep it in down by the corner flag. It goes out for a Palace throw.
Well, I'm not sure he quite needed to play that ball. That was the proper Hollywood ball, 50-yard crossfield pass that needed to be inch perfect for Mateta, and that's what he can do. He can absolutely cause havoc in defence, and yet almost at the moment we need him to be really composed, that kind of the 100 million pound striker where you get into the final third, you touch before you shoot, or the shot itself absolutely spot on. He just was a little bit heavy that allowed Saliba.
And now Arsenal are in. Madueke with a touch towards goal as Benitez came out, got something on it, and that was enough. And the loose ball squirts out the left-hand side of the penalty area and ends up going out for a throw to Crystal Palace, which Cambo will take. Martinelli lying on the deck, but it was just a throw taken quickly, flicked off on the edge of the penalty area. It broke Madueke's way, and Benitez did really well, threw a right arm at it, a strong one at that as well, and to be able to clear and keep it at 0-0.
Yeah, it was really good 1-2 touch play from Arsenal. Nice little dink over the top for Martinelli. Madueke's there. His first touch is decent, just sticks his toe out to try and get it past Benitez, but absolutely, Jim, he comes out really quickly, the goalkeeper, spreads himself and makes a very, very important save.
Scores Arsenal 0, Palace 0 on Talksport. And after we're done here, Sports Bar will be open for business with Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara. We'll be bringing you live reaction as well from Mikel Arteta and Oliver Glasner, and give you your chance to have your say on tonight's Carabao Cup quarter-final on the Sports Bar from 10 o'clock tonight. 03717 22 33 44. And don't forget, we're the only place on national radio that you can hear all 10 Premier League fixtures in round 18. So that's the round after next, the 30th of December and 1st of January games. All 10 matches will be live on Talksport. We're also the only place on national radio for live football commentary on Boxing Day. as we bring you the EFL and Manchester United against Newcastle. So in the festive period, we've got it all wrapped up for you. Here's Martinelli, chesting it down, turning it forward. Eze, got a yard of space, he's got the run on Wharton. He's got Jesus to his left-hand side, then he plays him in. Jesus picking it up, urged on by an Arsenal fan in front of us. Not the worst ball in. Gahey came and headed it away when perhaps his goalkeeper might have been able to deal with it. Richards with another header, Cambo with a third. And Palace have got it back outside their penalty area again, but not for long, because Martinelli will play down towards Lewis Skelly. He's actually gone deeper for Calafiori. You see the whole picture ahead of him, including all 11 Palace players between him and goal. It's quickly gone out for Noni Madueke again, the English international, scooping a ball back for Jurrien Timber. Back from him to Saliba, to Calafiori inside the centre circle once more as he picks up possession. He's playing at centre half tonight in place of Nkapie, who had just picked up a slight niggle at the weekend at Everton and has been left out tonight as a precaution. Nothing serious, we understand. Lewis Skelly playing it back for the aforementioned Calafiori to Saliba. Calafiori controlling it a third time and working it forward into the feet of Eze. Eze can just scoop it forward into the feet of the retreating Jesus. Down towards Martinelli. Martinelli coming in off the left-hand touchline, turning inside past Cambo. He's angled one in and the header is just wide. What did that hit? It's eventually smuggled away. I don't know whether Benitez got a hand on that or it hit the frame of the goal, but Arsenal coming closer than ever before to taking a 1-0 lead. It's a great ball in by Martinelli and a fine save by the diving Walter Benitez. His second good moment of the night to keep his clean sheet intact.
Absolutely, second brilliant moment of the night, making sure he's keeping a clean sheet for now.
Martinelli getting past Cambo, worked in just away from Eze, didn't break Nørgaard's way, and it's cleared out towards Mateta. Nørgaard then wins it back and will wriggle down towards the left-hand touchline before turning it and laying it back for Lewis Skelly.
Jim, you can't allow Martinelli to come in on the inside in the final third. You have to show him down the outside. You know, as a full-back or wing-back, the right side centre-half, drop the ego. If he does go down the outside, at least he's hopefully not going to get a proper cross in. By allowing him to come inside, he's whipped in a great cross, and that is a wonderful, wonderful save from Benitez.
Here's Mateta trying to control the ball. Was played for Calafiori, got there first. Mikel Arteta couldn't hide his dismay about 5 seconds before that when Lewis Skelly played a poor ball down the inside left channel that was easily cut out by Chris Richards, and Arteta turned away disdainfully after the error from his young fullback in surrendering possession. Arsenal on top here, 25 minutes gone. It's still 0-0 and the possession is on the rise. It's nearly 80-20 now. But still they have nothing to show for it. Palace hanging in there at 0-0.
Yeah, I think they are. You know, Arsenal are really starting to turn the screw and create chances. You know, 5 shots to 1, 3 on target to 0. They're looking like they're getting on the ball and able to open up Crystal Palace. I said about an own open play, they look organised. Haven't been like that in the last 5 minutes. And Martinelli in particular looks Arsenal's most dangerous man.
Arsenal's right back Jurrien Timber is a yard in from the left-hand touchline in open play there as he came into the midfield as he loves to do and then ended up just drifting down towards the wrong touchline in inverted commas. Arsenal work it forward. Marino thought he was fouled. Referee indicates that the ball was played by the Palace man. But Arsenal will come again in the next phase of play with Eze laying it back for Nørgaard. Flighted forward. It's hit the top of Mitchell's Lerma's head and bounced towards the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal win it back again. Deeper. Eze faced up by Wharton. Goes out towards Martinelli. Martinelli taking on Campbell on the outside this time. Stamps up the cross. And it's put away by Gahey at the far post. Out for a corner. Great ball that took Benitez out of the picture. But it was Gahey that read it the quicker and he could tap it away to safety.
Well, if you're Arsenal, you get the ball out to the left as much as possible and let Martinelli run at Cambo every day of the week. He's gone inside, he's gone outside. If you're Crystal Palace, and especially if you're JD Cambo, you scream to your teammates, you come out and help me, please. Make sure he doesn't receive the ball, or one of the centre-halves come round and help me in a 2-on-1 situation. He's got him on toast every single time at the moment.
Certainly not a natural fullback or wing-back, JD Cambo. And Arsenal have been able to exploit that. They've got a second corner here. It's a left-footed in-swinger, well headed away by Mateta. Might break Ezra's way, and then it was Calafiori actually that did snatch at a shot and put it over the bar from about 12 yards. 0-0, 28 gone here on Talksport. It feels as though it might not be 0-0 for much longer.
No, it's coming, isn't it? And that's actually a really good opportunity for Calafiori. The ball's just dropped dead. And it would have been better if he'd just taken a swing of it with his right foot. Because he's so predominantly left-footed, he's almost gone in front of his right foot and gone with the outside of his foot. He's leaning back, it's gone over. He's only 7 yards out. Again, you've got to hit the target there, but Arsenal, it does look like it's going to come, and it's going to come from the left-hand side for sure. Brilliant play from Martinelli, either coming inside or going down the outside and whipping the ball in.
0-0 on Talksport. Playing for the right to take on Chelsea in the semi-finals. Manchester City against Newcastle in the other semi-final. As I mentioned, the first leg of this semi-final, whoever wins this against Chelsea will be at Stamford Bridge on the second Wednesday in the new year, the 14th of January. It will be live on Talksport. If Palace get there, I think we've already seen enough tonight that we know that they will have Walter Benitez to thank in some small part. He's made some good saves. Palace have got a player down injured at the moment, so you're not missing anything. It's right on the edge of the centre circle, and that will just allow the Palace boss Oliver Glasner to have a quick word with Jeremy Pino on this near side. Mikel Arteta is waving Martinelli over. He wants a word with him as well. As Jefferson Lerma's just picked up a bang to the face. He's going to be able to continue, but it needs to be attended to because there's a little bit of blood, so he's just been patched up. Yeah,
he'll be fine. Of that, there's no doubt there. But look, it's not an easy thing to do, but I mentioned Adam Wharton sort of towards or at the start of the game, and to try and come here with Arsenal being so strong, you know, top of the table, top of the Champions League table as well, the form they're in, it's very difficult to suddenly grab the game by the scruff of the neck. But these are the type of situations now where your team's under pressure. How are you going to wrestle back the tempo of the game? Because it's all on Arsenal. Said about how even coming into the game after what happened at Ellen Road, they're very vulnerable on set pieces, Crystal Palace. But after the first sort of 20 minutes or so, they're looking vulnerable in open play as well. And that's where you need someone to say, right, I'm going to get hold of the ball. I'm going to make sure they don't play at their tempo. We play at ours. And I mentioned Adam Wharton and how much I am a fan of, but these are the type of games where you can turn around and say, look what he did. Very much under pressure against Arsenal, and yet he sort of wrestled control of the game and helped Crystal Palace go through to the next round.
Well, it is Palace's fifth game in 13 days, in which time they've been held by Cups of Finland, well beaten by both Manchester City and Leeds. A sense that it is maybe just beginning to catch up with them. They've made only 17 changes in the Premier League this season, which is fewer than anybody else. And the reasons behind that have been well documented. Oliver Glasner feels that he doesn't have the necessary strength in depth. They've got the free kick for the foul on Lerma here that they've just pinged straight over everybody and out of play for a goal kick that Arsenal have taken quickly. 31 gone, 0-0.
Oh, by the way, when we were talking earlier about manager of the season, I gave it to Reggie Lebris, you too. Oliver Glasner's number 2 in my book.
Yeah, just tremendous. In the context of Crystal Palace's history, that sounds real. I don't mean it to at all, but when you consider that their highest ever Premier League finish is 10th, obviously they had that top 3 finish not long before the start of the Premier League, but they never won a major honour. And the position that they were in when he took over and what he has achieved has been nothing short of remarkable. When you go into a season and you're probably an 80% chance to have your best ever Premier League finish, and you've got silverware, and you're in Europe for the first time. I mean, you can't speak highly enough about it. He's brilliant.
It is quite simply history making. And even this season, with not being given the money he wanted to strengthen the squad and take his team further, and yet they are where they are in the league. And they're in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup.
And they're in Arsenal's penalty area within it as well, with Eddie Nketiah. He's drilled it in towards Mateta, but it was flicked away from him by the penalty spot. Arsenal can play it away again towards Eza. Cambo's dispossessed him, but has shoved him over as he's done so. And it's a free kick to Arsenal about 10 yards outside their own box.
But at least they're spending a bit of time in Arsenal's half. You know, for the last 15, 20 minutes, it's almost been attack v defence. And, you know, can we hold out? Can't hold out here for 90 minutes playing like that. They have to be on the front foot as well. As I say, looking at Adam Wharton, but also Jefferson Lerma, the two wide players to add that bit of width, to receive the ball, to take the ball further forward, to carry it. But in particular, perhaps where they struggled the most, the two number 10s in Pino and Nketiah, they're not getting involved in the game at the moment.
Mars Lewis Skelly's got the ball for Arsenal. He's played it up the left-hand side for Martinelli. Cambo's dealt with him well that time. And Eddie Nketiah plays it back for the Frenchman, who can bring it forward over halfway. Shoves it down the line, but it hits Lewis Skelly. Ricochets back towards Martinelli. Trying to take on Richards, couldn't get the ball past him. Arsenal pick it up in the second phase, and Jesus will lay it back towards Nørgaard. Strong challenge from him, but a fair one in the midfield. He got the better of Pino. Now Marino to Timber. In a central area again. 0-0 with 11 to go to the break on Talksport. In towards Eze. Poke round the corner. Jesus hoping to hook it back. It's cleared and goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. They're getting closer.
They are. They're really good defending there, and that's what we know Crystal Palace are capable of doing with the three centre halves that they've got. You know, it's just such great movement, isn't it? As they're finding the space in the box. And it's not one, not two, but three Crystal Palace players making sure that shot from Gabriel Jesus doesn't come in and test Walter Benitez.
Was a heavy challenge in there on Jesus, perpetrated by Richards. He's okay, and play can continue. The long throw inside the Palace penalty area, flicked on. They're winning a lot of those flicks are Arsenal, and it's cleared and goes out of play for another throw that'll be taken by Nørgaard. Will be just down the road at Ali Pally very shortly for a darts update. First of all, this latest long throw, which will be taken over on the Arsenal right hand side. Nørgaard arching the back, hurling the yellow ball inside the penalty area, flicked on by a Palace player inside his own penalty area, but cleared. Comes back out towards Nørgaard. Out on the right-hand side is Timber. Timber towards the far post, and Richards is back to head it away and out of play for another corner.
Yeah, good defending again from Crystal Palace, but can't keep on being on the back foot like this. It was a simple header out, and actually, again, good positional play defensively, because there's only Martinelli at the back post, but Arsenal are knocking at the door for sure.
Still 0-0. Eze to take this latest corner. It's about this stage of the league game between the two sides that Arsenal scored what turned out to be the only goal. That came from a set piece. This one hurled in by Eze and cleared, and then Mitchell can boom it further forward towards halfway. Lewis Skelly's on the end of that. He's actually come across and misjudged the bounce. Calafiori then heads it forward. Arsenal have a player go down, and it's going to be a free kick for a foul by Jefferson Lerma. So let's find out what's been going on in the darts. I'm delighted to say good evening to top man Paul Nicholson. Paul?
Good evening, Jim. What a first game we've had tonight. Justin Hood and Danny Noppert have left everything out there. 102 average for Danny, 103 for Hood. It went to a sudden death leg at the very end, but it is the man from Glastonbury who was taking out the number 6 seed in the final leg of the game.
Nico, thank you. And all the coverage continues on the Talksport Darts channel. It'll be a free kick here to Arsenal. 15 yards inside the Crystal Palace half. Eze's going to take it. Palace keeping the line on the edge of the D. It's actually been rolled square, the free kick, and then Saliba goes back for Eze, and Eze can just glide forward in his laconic fashion, firing the ball in towards the near post. He's trying to get across his man. He's got the last touch. His reaction suggests that he doesn't think he did. It should be a corner, but goal kick has been given. Mikel Arteta also having a say on that. I think judging by Jesus' reaction, he has decided that probably should have been a corner. Just having another look at the replay here as Madueke played it in. It does look as though it's probably Mateta who got the dominant touch. The goal kick's been given though.
Well, from that angle, it looked pretty obvious, and you would think Mateta against Jesus that it would be Mateta winning the header. You understand why Mikel Arteta wasn't happy with that, but yet again, he stepped outside his technical area. It's not big enough for him.
Benitez just managing the situation. Whenever the ball goes out of play for a goal kick, he's taking a few seconds off the clock where he can, as you would want your goalkeeper to do in the circumstances that Palace are in. 0-0 with 7 to go to half-time here on Talksport. And Sirius XM-FC across Canada and the United States. It's Canvo on halfway, goes back for Richards. Richards to Maxence Lacroix. What a great acquisition he has been. Hasn't missed a minute of Premier League football. Has only missed 1 game all season. Lacroix, such a dependable figure at the heart of the Palace back line. Benitez clearing. Wharton able to help it on. Might break Pino's way, but Calafiori makes sure it doesn't. Eza just pokes it back towards Lewis Skelly, and then all of a sudden Glasner is really animated on the corner of his technical area, not happy with something that he's seen. It's a little bit too easy for Arsenal to be winning second ball in the midfield. Glasner still chundering away. Free kick goes Arsenal's way. Lewis Skelly took it quickly and well, side-footing it forward for Marino's run, but the referee has pulled play back because he wants to have a word with Mikel Arteta. And had he let that go, Arsenal would have been in a great position inside the penalty area, but the referee decided he wanted to pull it back, and has had a word with Arteta, and it's going to be a free kick actually from a completely different position to be taken by Arsenal's Eberechi Eze.
Jim, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but at least half a dozen times Mikel Arteta has gone outside the technical area, and if the reason why the referee wanted to have a word with him was perhaps because of that, or just the fact he's been so vociferous as well, Marino was in there with that quick free kick.
Calafiori down towards Martinelli. Martinelli on the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's another great ball in that Richards has done really well to deal with. Pino's off the field at the moment, receiving treatment. Play goes on with Arsenal again, with Martinelli again, taking on Cambo, slipping it to his left-hand side. Lewis Skelly clipping it across. Madueke! And Benitez with another fine save before the ball is boomed away by Gay and out of play for another corner. Walter Benitez has had a fine night and has needed to at 0-0.
It could be 3-0 easily. And Palace cannot keep on playing like this and defending like this. Arsenal will score if it continues. And Noni Madueke, he's had so much time to bring the ball down, and hardly anyone's closed him down. And Benitez is almost going down as he shot, and he stuck out his right palm. Very strong hand tipping it over, but it's all Arsenal at the moment.
Scored a couple of goals in his last appearance, Noni Madueke. Might have scored there. In comes this latest corner. Lacroix's got his head to it at the near post. Palace get it further clear. Lewis Skelly getting it back for Arsenal. Another ball hooked in high by Madueke. To Martinelli. Martinelli chipping it up towards the far post. It's a play back in just behind Jesus. Wharton is there to clear. I think Oliver Glasner turns away again in dismay. Remember, they've really struggled to deal with lead set pieces at the weekend. All 4 that they conceded came from set pieces of some fashion. They're still not happy. Another cross comes in, and Benitez deals with it Superman style, throwing a right fist at it to be able to knock it away. Arsenal winning it back once more in midfield. Saliba coming forward, right in the challenges. Martinelli, the danger man again. Which way is he going to take on Cambo this time? To the byline, checks back, chips it towards the right-hand side of the area where Timber's volley is deflected away, and Benitez can stop it going out of play for a corner. Glasner not happy. He's read the script. He knows what's coming. And there is an Arsenal opening goal if Palace can't sort things out.
Yeah, absolutely. If it doesn't come in the first half, it will come in the second. If it carries on like this, Palace have to somehow find a way to get hold of the ball, to make 3-4 passes, to get inside Arsenal's half, not just by lumping it and giving the ball away, but by working their way forward. And this is where we talk about, again, a depletion of how they're feeling individually, or certain players being injured, not around. It's very much on the back foot, Palace.
And here's Martinelli once more, taking on Cambo. Oh, he shuffled past him. He's left him on his backside. It's inside the penalty area. And a header at the far post, and Madueke goes over the bar. This is unsustainable from a Palace point of view. Cambo against Martinelli. They've got Sosa on the bench. I wonder whether we'll see him at half-time, because every time Martinelli's got it, he's beating it.
But I don't understand why someone, and they include the manager in this, is not saying go out and help him, get close to him, get in front of him, his toes, to make sure first of all he doesn't receive the ball, and then if he somehow does receive the ball, he hasn't got a one-on-one able to get that kind of pace up where he can go either on the outside or the inside. I feel sorry for JD Cambo, but he himself has to be more communicative, but so do the defenders and the manager as well, because at the moment it's get the ball out to the left and just leave Martinelli to it.
Norgard in the midfield, Wharton, then Eze, all three players in there. Eze's won a free kick. Marino thinking about taking it quickly. Norgard actually does just toe pokes it away behind square. Try and release Noni Madueke. Palace can get it forward towards Lerma. He's then turned cleverly, buys the free kick off Mikel Merino, which Palace will be in no hurry to take. They're 90 seconds away from getting to half-time at 0-0. There's not going to be too much time added on at the end of this first half. At 2 minutes at the most, if they get to half-time and it's still 0-0, I think that they will consider themselves mighty fortunate.
I don't know how it would be 0-0 if it does get to half-time, but as I say, as we both said, it can't carry on like this. Just even a little tweak, you look in terms of the midfield, Lerma's on the left side of the two and Wharton's on the right, whereas just switch around and Lerma, come out and help me. Make sure that you sit in front of Martinelli so he doesn't receive the ball. Or even, you have a word with Chris Richards as well and say, look, I'm going to get as close to him as possible, but you just come round. He's the main danger at the moment down the left-hand side. Once he gets up to speed and a one-on-one, he's got me on toes, so come out and help me.
Well, the ball's out of play for a Palace throw that Lerma is going to take. I think Glasner is just making that very point to Jefferson Lerma. But he needs to come across and try and do something to help Cambo out. I mean, Cambo played 20 minutes at Fulham as a right wing back, 6 minutes in the game against Brentford. Lerma launching this long throw inside the penalty area now, which bounces once, goes over Mateta and straight through into the hands of Kepa. And he balls it out quickly for Marino to Timber, and Arsenal already inside the Palace penalty area at the other end with Madueke. Chip back towards the far post. Martinelli gives Jesus a shout. He pulls it back. Lewis Skelly through a crowd. It's deflected. And Palace will be able to just whack it away. And Lerma had the ball at his feet. And all he cared about was getting it upfield. Knew he wasn't going to hit a teammate. Just had to get it out of harm's way. 2 additional minutes. We're in them now. It's still 0-0, Scott.
Do you know what was really good defending from Tyreek Mitchell? He wouldn't allow Noni Madueke to come inside onto his left foot when he's in the box. So in the end, he went with the run on the outside, passing to Timber, who dinked it to the far post. It just gives the Palace defenders a second to get themselves organised.
Martinelli towards the edge of the penalty area for Norgard. Minute and a half of this first half to go. Saliba to Timber, who's had a couple of chances. Out it goes towards Madueke again by the corner of the penalty area, and some more bustling and battling going on. And Madueke went to ground, and Pino waved him back to his feet, said something on his way past. Play goes on. Norgard out of the right hand side of the penalty area again. First half in which Arsenal have been completely dominant. Palace have only had 2 efforts, so one of them a really good chance very early on for Mitchell on the counter-attack. That's proved to be something of a false dawn for the Eagles. Martinelli. Cambo stood his ground that time, didn't commit himself, and was able to side-foot the ball out of play for a throw, which Norgard will take. Martinelli has stayed down, he's holding his knee, and Norgard comes across to pick up the match ball from in front of the hoardings. He's drying it on a dark green towel, but might have to dry it again because of the evening dew by the time Martinelli is back on his feet, because he's been writhing around in pain and is now lying on his side and is in need of treatment.
But you know what, that's really good defending there from Cambo. And there was a 2v1 or 1v2. Eddie Nketiah came out to try and help him there. And that's what he needs doing. He needs Nketiah to drop in, or Wharton or Lerma to come across, or Chris Richards as well. Because once he's in a one-on-one situation, I think almost 5-6 occasions he's gone past him either on the outside or on the inside.
There's almost a hush around the Emirates at the moment as Martinelli is being attended to. He just found himself sandwiched between the two Palace players, Cambo and Nketiah. Went to ground and is just having that right knee and leg stretched out at the moment. Right at the end of the first half that has belonged to Walter Benitez, really. He's made a string of saves that have got better as the night has gone on. There was a Jesus header that he just got a left hand to tip onto the post. There was a big save from Madueke, where he stayed big at the near post and didn't commit himself, was able to beat it away. More good goalkeeping from crosses as well. It's taken a claim to try and be Palace's number one. I mean, he's seemingly a long way behind Dean Henderson, who started each of the Eagles' last 64 Premier League matches. But Benitez showing himself to be a more than capable and able number two tonight.
Quite simply, it could be 3-0 quite easily. He's made 3 really good saves. And there's something which, again, fascinating to see what Oliver Glasner is looking to do, whether he won't tweak the system, but maybe he'll just tell players to come out and help him. It's pretty obvious where the main danger's coming from. And the fact that he's down and just limping off is a worry for Arsenal in terms of this particular contest, because he's been the best player on the pitch.
He's got a really good record in his career against Palace. He's scored more goals against the Eagles than he has against any other opposition. 6 and 11. But whether he's going to be able to play too much more of a part in this game remains to be seen. He's made his way off. Arsenal won't make a change at this stage, but Martinelli won't be coming back on for the remainder of the first half. Norgaard's long throw belatedly comes inside the penalty area and has been cleared. And then Cambo just wanted a little bit too much time. He's going to be able to get it away from Marino. And the ball just ricochets off the Spaniard and out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Palace right-hand side. Well, Martinelli's been the pick of the bunch as far as Arsenal's concerned. He makes his way off now, very gingerly. And it'll be interesting to see whether he comes back out for the second period. Palace will be hoping that he doesn't. They're indebted to their goalkeeper, Walter Benitez, for keeping them in the League Cup tonight. Arsenal, so much the better side of the two. 12 shots to 2. Possession in the 80s. But Palace are hanging in there. And at half-time, it is Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0.
Well, it's a joke that Arsenal aren't in front. It's a joke it's 0-0. And the reason it's 0-0 is because of the man who's just walking down the tunnel right now, big Walter Benitez, who was a hero in a previous round against Millwall in a penalty shootout, saved a couple of spot kicks, and he saved everything that's been thrown at him by Arsenal. And I tell you what, quite a lot has been thrown at him in that first half by the Gunners. Crystal Palace have had barely 20% of the possession. They haven't had a shot on target, obviously. They've had just 2 touches in the Arsenal box. Scott Minto, why have Crystal Palace just not bothered turning up tonight? What's the point of getting to a quarter-final and then you don't even bother putting up any kind of resistance in the quarter-final? This is pathetic from Palace. Well, it is, isn't it, really? It is. There's no attacking intent whatsoever. It's only the goalkeeper that's saving them right now.
I'd love you to play in this Palace side and see what it's like to play against this Arsenal side. I mean, they're something else, and they're playing really well at the moment. And over the last few weeks, people have sort of questioned them. Obviously, the loss to Villa. Well, anybody can lose to Aston Villa. Obviously, the game against Wolves was a real struggle, and somehow they got over the line. I thought it was a very solid professional performance against Everton, but today...
Yeah, you're not convincing me here, but go on.
Today, they've been very much on the front foot. Look, I'm not going to say to you that Palace have been good. They haven't. They really, really haven't. But we've given the reasons perhaps why they've not been the particular Crystal Palace side that we've seen for the last 18 months. They're knackered. You know, they're out on their feet at the moment. The players who were looking to try and get hold of the ball and keep the ball, they're not doing it. They've got players out injury. They've got a player out at the AFCON. Daniel Munoz, I mean, that would be a fascinating battle with him and Martinelli, but I'm just really surprised, as much as I respect Oliver Glasner, that he hasn't tried to sort something out, not necessarily by substitution, although it'd be interesting to see whether Nathaniel Klein will come on in the second half. 34-year-old wouldn't necessarily want to be playing against Martinelli for 90 minutes.
Will Martinelli come out in the second half?
Well, and that's I'm not going to say that's key, because Arsenal clearly, we're talking about the strength and depth that they've got, but he's been their best player this evening, so it'd be a blow for them in terms of this contest tonight if he's not able to come out. It looked to me as if it was just a sort of clash of legs. Now, don't get me wrong, that could be very, very painful, but it also looked to me his body language was almost, I can't go on here. So the physio, I was watching them as they were coming down the line. He kind of gave him a tap up the bum and said, like, you be fine. But he didn't want to be fine by the looks of it. So fascinating to see whether he does come out. And obviously they do have strength in depth to do that. But Crystal Palace, I understand where you're coming from, mate. And they've not been good, but this is a very, very good Arsenal side.
Well, you said something right at the end of the half I never thought I'd hear you say, which was, quote, really good defending from Cambo. And in that instance it was. That was the moment that Martinelli got injured. What I'm bothered about is, yes, Arsenal are good, and I get all of that, but they're not completely flawless. There are weaknesses in this Arsenal side. Mars Lewis-Skelly on the left-hand side, I think, is somebody who can be got at. But Palace don't seem to have any kind of attacking plan whatsoever. If they have it, I can't see it. So explain it to me.
Well, JD Cambo, he's not a wing-back, let alone a sort of a winger where he can really push on. And again, that's where I think Crystal Palace missed Munoz massive time. They really do. I think he'd be able to take him the other way at Martinelli and also have a go at Lewis Skelly. Defensively, I think they've been okay. They've been sort of solid. The back three have been okay. But, again, in set pieces, the ball's coming into the box. These are three big centre halves. They should be able to deal with balls coming to the box. And yet they don't seem to be able to do with that. I just think, again, that midfield. Look, you win the games in both boxes. That's how you defend and how you attack, and whether you're clinical or not, whether you make mistakes. But you control the tempo of the game in midfield. And Arsenal have absolutely bossed this from pretty much start to finish. They had that early chance, Tyreek Mitchell, where he should have done better. He should have hit the target at least. Apart from that, it has been sit back, very much on the back foot. They've not been keeping the ball. And again, this is where I think people don't give enough credit to Arsenal. It's not just what they do with the ball, it's how they position themselves and press without it. They almost suffocate you, and you're trying to look up to what am I going to do, how am I going to play this pass. The pass isn't on, so I'll knock it long. Saliba's right next to Mateta, and so too is Calafiori as well. They pick up the ball and they go again. They're just as good without the ball as they are with the ball, but there's no doubt about it. Palace can't play the second half how they did in the first, because they will not keep a clean sheet. I
don't think that they will. I don't think it's going to be the same personnel. Justin Devaney's been out warming up over the last 2 or 3 minutes pretty strenuously. He's just gone back inside, but I would imagine Devaney will be coming on for the second half of Palace.
It can't go on like this. I mean, as it stands, we're going to penalties, but surely that isn't going to happen based on what we've witnessed and what we've brought you live on Talksport in that first half. It is still goalless, though. Incredibly, I actually can't believe it. It's still goalless. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0 live on Talksport.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. 18+ gambleaware.org.
Drum roll, please. The results are in, and it's official. Asda has been named the cheapest Christmas basket by the Grocer 33, beating Tesco, Morrisons, Sainsbury's and Waitrose, even with their loyalty card prices. That's something to feel very merry about.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
That's Asda price. Based on the Grocer 33 weekly basket comparison published on 12th of December 2025. Excludes Asda Express and small stores. See asda.com/small stores. For verification and full terms, visit asda.com/verification.
Zero, nada, zilch. When Vauxhall say 0%, they mean 0%. No catch, no compromise. 0% APR is available now across the Vauxhall car range, including the all-new Frontera Electric. With a minimum 20% deposit and up to 4 years on offer, what's not to like? You'll pay 0% APR for 100% Vauxhall. Search Vauxhall to find out more. Personal contract purchase. 20% deposit required, subject to status and availability. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Stellantis Financial Services.
Matt Lucas here. My new children's book, Bobland, is out now in hardback. It's a story about a boy called Bob who accidentally gets banned from the greatest theme park in the world forever, so decides to build his own in his back garden. But will Bob and his friends make it to the grand opening in one piece? It's a tale of roller coasters, rivalry, and a right royal rumpus. Bobland. Order your copy today.
Potatoes. Oh, and shallots too. At 8p each. You're going to need a bigger colander. Lidl. More to value. Offers valid 18th to the 24th of December, subject to availability. Selected stores, GB only.
The halls are decked with guaranteed wins every Friday in December on the Sky Vegas prize machine. It's free to play. Simply opt in and spin to win. Each prize comes with its own terms and expiry dates. Play Prize Machine and join over 1 million winners this year. There's so much to unwrap this festive season at Sky Vegas. Minigame must be played for bonus rounds feature. Eligibility restrictions and T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Some brands sponsor athletes for the glory, but not Quaker. We're real food. So we sponsor Team GB for the real stuff, the ugly stuff. The 5 a.m. alarms, the blisters, bruises, goggle marks, and mountains of sweaty laundry. Because we know that getting to greatness takes a delicious helping of ugliness. And my word, our porridge is ugly. Look at the state of it. Quaker. Deliciously real, deliciously ugly. Sponsor of Team GB.
It happens in a moment. A driver cuts across, a bump, a claim, and suddenly it's your word against theirs. That's when your Nextbase dashcam steps in. Your witness recording every detail, every second, with total clarity. Nextbase protects you. Right now, get up to £100 off Nextbase dashcams, including the amazing IQ and new Pico at nextbase.com, Halfords and other retailers. Nextbase dashcams. Protect every journey.
Whatever kind of football fan you are, Talksport and the Coral Daily Download are here for it to celebrate the fans every day. Whether you're a front row seater or a prawn sandwich eater, a half-and-half scarf wearer or a lifelong faithful torchbearer, a retro shirt for every game or bare-chested, even in the rain. For all the latest news, reaction and odds this season, don't miss the Coral Daily Download. Every morning from 6 on Talksport with Coral. We're here for the fans. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The football animal is alive. Kick-off live on Talksport.
4 big saves made by Walter Benitez for Crystal Palace has kept it at Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So goalless then, Arsenal are 2-1 on to win in normal time. Palace are 8-1. Remember, it's 0-0. Palace are 8-1. The draw is 11-5. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get a free bet every week of the season and a big boost every day. That's Ladisfaction. Minimum £5 bet. Conditions apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Well, the darts is live on Talksport 2 right now. It's live on the darts YouTube channel as well. Ali Pally is next train stop up from Finsbury Park, which is an Arsenal station. Let's get the latest from Alexandra Palace in the PDC with Ian Danta.
Well, Adrian, we've witnessed an Ali Pally classic here tonight where Justin Hood, on his debut at these championships, it's his first year of being a PDC tour card holder, has made round 3, knocking out the number 6 seed, Danny Noppert from the Netherlands, the Freeze, by 3-2. Hood raced into a 2-0 lead, but Noppert showed incredible spirit and fortitude to come back to 2-2, and in the final set it went to a final sudden death leg at 5 legs apiece. Hood finally came out on top. They both had match starts to win it. They both ended up with a 3-dart average over 100, both averaging well over 40% on their checkout doubles, but it just so happened that Justin Hood from Glastonbury, who wants to own it and buy a Chinese restaurant as soon as he can, got the job done. Any more advances in this tournament, Adrian, he'll be able to buy a fleet of Chinese restaurants in Somerset. He's through to the next round to take on Ryan Meikle. On stage right now, Connor Scott, the sniper, has taken the first set against former 2-time world champion Gary Anderson, and 3-time world champion Michael van Gerwen is coming up shortly on stage. He'll be against the Magpie from the Republic of Ireland, William O'Connor. And as you say, all the action on TalkSport 2, the TalkSport app and the TalkSport Darts YouTube channel.
PDC World Darts Championship update on Talksport with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this New Year's Eve. Party at one of our New Year's Eve events. 34 locations across the UK. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Honestly, if I owned a Chinese restaurant, there's only 2 things that could possibly be the outcomes. Either I explode or I just eat all the profits. It's just one of the things, those 2 things is going to happen. Anyway, let's move on. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0. Waiting for the second half to start. I've got a big question for Scott Minto, actually. What is your big problem with Mikel Arteta in or stroke out of the technical area? You're going on about it a lot. What's your issue?
Well, hold on a minute. That's the biggest. First of all, thank you to Jim for actually telling me it was the technical area, because I couldn't quite think.
Yeah, you're thinking dug out. What is it? That bit.
It's almost as big as the pitch. I mean,
it's a big technical area, and it is right up to the touchline. You're right.
Right up to the touchline.
But what's your problem?
He's over the top. So, why does it need to be that big? Why is he getting so close to the Crystal Palace players? You know, there was Cambo who had the ball as the ball was coming out. It's literally, I'd say, less than a yard or a yard max between the technical area line and the actual sideline, and yet he's close to him. He's breathing down his neck. I mean, why does he need to be that close? I just think that just sit back a little bit and stand back. He's obviously trying to get as close to the touchline as possible, and I understand the little small margins and that, but yeah, it's just slightly annoying. It's big enough already. Just stay in the box.
I actually do agree with you on it. I just wanted to pick your brains on it.
Okay.
What I would say is Miles Lewis-Skelly...
Unless you agreeing with me.
Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't started in the Premier League, as Jim was saying in commentary, which I think is an incredible stat when we've got to Christmas. He's made himself unpickable for England quicker than he got himself in the Three Lions squad. And tonight, I think I've worked out why. Because he's played left back and he's on the side of the pitch where Mikel Arteta is. And Mikel Arteta has been berating him. He's been touch tight to him on the touchline. He's been hassling him, haranguing him. It's like the worst kind of football dad for your kid's Sunday side. Do you know what I mean? I'm expecting tonight, after the game, I'm expecting Mikel Arteta to get in the driving seat, Miles Lewis-Skelly to get in the back, and there's going to be an awkward conversation between the two of them where Lewis-Skelly is going to say, I don't want to play anymore. I just can't deal with you on the touchline. He's going to be really upset. He's going to start crying. His dad's going to say, well, what's the problem? I'm just trying to help you. Yeah. It's going to be one of those situations, but I personally, listen, it might be miles off beam, but it looks to me like it affects Miles Lewis-Skelly.
Yeah.
He's young still, isn't he?
Do you know what? It's a great analogy of the dad and the kids. You know, do you remember Jose Mourinho saying about Luke Shaw that I almost had to tell him where to go and every time when he was
you had to coach him while he was playing. Yeah,
and it's a bit like that. Whereas, you know, what I would say about Miles Lewis-Skelly, you know, he's grown up being a midfielder and he's been asked to play left back, and quite often he's having to go as an inverted midfielder where he should be, you know, pretty comfortable, but he's not quite sure when to do it. He's still learning the game, so I don't have a problem with Arteta sort of trying to tell him, but he doesn't have to be so, again, body language and that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm sure Miles Lewis-Skelly is a very strong young man mentally, but at the same time, when 60,000 people are watching, you know, the manager kind of like move around and point and trying to say, you got to go here and now there. It certainly doesn't help anyway, but he's a youngster I really like. I want to see him playing more times for Arsenal as well, and I think he's got a lot to learn defensively, but the only way he's going to be able to do that is to be playing, so I'm pleased he is playing.
I bet he wishes he'd been playing centre mid in that first half, away from the manager on the touchline. Teams are on their way back out. Listen, we're giving you so much football on Talksport, over 50 live commentaries on the network during this festive period. We're the only place on national radio for live football commentaries on Boxing Day, as we offer EFL, and the only Premier League fixture is live and exclusive on Talksport. That's Man United against Newcastle. The Arsenal players have gone into a pre-second half huddle. The Palace players have come out. Walter Benitez, the keeper, was out, and he was in his goal for a long time before the outfield players came out. I think he didn't want to get off the pitch because he'd had such a good first half. He's been by far the man of the match, certainly from a Crystal Palace point of view. He's the big reason, Walter Benitez, the Palace keeper, why it is still Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 0 in this Carabao Cup quarter-final, live on Talksport. And here's your second half with former Cup winner Scott Minto alongside Jim Proudfoot.
Not one change, but two for Palace ahead of this second half. Eddie Nketiah has come off. So too, perhaps unsurprisingly, JD Canvo. And significantly, as far as Arsenal are concerned, Martinelli has reappeared. I'll run through the two teams for you in a moment. Devaney and Klein, the players that have come on for the Eagles. We're back underway. Arsenal in their famous red and white. Palace in their change kit of all gold. And Richards slams the ball forward, but the referee has already blown up for a free kick. Arsenal, Aretha Balaga in goal. Timber Saliba, Calafiori, Lewis-Skelly, Marino, Norgard and Eza. Madueke, Jesus and the dangerous Martinelli. For Palace, it's Benitez in goal, Richards, Lacroix and Gahey. Klein on for Canvo, Lerma, Wharton and Mitchell. Devaney on for Nketiah alongside Pino and Mateta up front. And no surprise at all that JD Canvo has come off. Are you surprised to see that Eddie Nketiah has been withdrawn?
No, I'm not. Down that left-hand side, Arsenal's left, Palace's right, it was where all the danger was coming from. I said that I don't think anybody was helping Canberra, and if I'm that person, I'm actually screaming for someone to either drop in, come across, tuck in behind me, and no one did that. So Eddie Nketiah wasn't really adding anything going forward as well, so I'm not surprised. Justin Devaney, of course, played as that right wing-back against Shelbourne. He's played left wing-back before for his country. And Oliver Glasner has talked about it, but it's Nathaniel Klein who's going to be playing in that position. But there's no doubt about it, Devaney will be protecting him.
Klein, who was runner-up in this competition back in 2016 in his Liverpool days. The player stopped here because of a problem for Barachi Eza. He's all right. Referee Stuart Atwell just leaning over him to make sure he's okay. Doesn't need any treatment. He's back on his feet. It will be an Arsenal free kick to get us back underway. Arsenal kicking from left to right towards the clock end here in this second half. And in possession with Lewis Skelly, who goes back for Calafiori. Calafiori controlling it with his right foot and then playing it with his left. Down towards Saliba. Saliba to Marino and back again, and then Norgard couldn't hide his dismay at a misdirected ball that was played forward and offers a hand of apology to his coach, who was very quickly moaning about the poor delivery there. Palace work it back for Benitez, a man with several significant touches in that first half, a couple of wonderful saves. He plays it forward. Nurgard is in there twice with headers, trying to get it forward towards Jesus. The second time he got it down towards Eza. Lewis Skelly has it. He's put under pressure over on the far touchline by Klein, and the pressure is telling, and Devaney, doubling up, has won it back. Takes it down towards the corner flag, switches it back. Klein sending it in here. Lerma with the header, but he's put it wide. I mean, Kepa would have had it covered, but that's much better from Crystal Palace, showing attacking intent at the beginning of this second half. Still 0-0.
Absolutely. It's something which we didn't see, not after the first few minutes of the first half anyway, from Crystal Palace. First of all, getting the ball into Arsenal's, not just half, but final third, and then getting the ball into the box. And Lerma, he rose above everyone else. It was well wide. Kepa would easily have saved it if it was on target, but at least the intent is better at the start of the second half.
Only scored the one goal for Crystal Palace. It is his 100th game for the club tonight. But a sight of goal as far as the Eagles are concerned, to infuse those travelling supporters over on the far side of the ground. Mateta trying to get it forward here for Devaney. Now Klein will be able to take over. They've had more of the ball at the start of this second half. Feels as though they've had more of the ball in the second half already than they did in the first. Lacroix siphoning it forward for Lerma, yarding from the left-hand touchline. He's got Mitchell ahead of him. He's checked back. Plays it back for Mark Gahey. Gahey to Wharton, who's given the instruction to turn. He was immediately under pressure, and he just glided away from it. Flicked on by Pino. The idea was right, not the best touch. Saliba can clear. Play back in by Wharton again. Pino to Mateta, near the edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Mateta has to just turn, peel away. Now we will be able to side foot it forward for Mitchell, who's that little bit further forward at the start of the second half. Saliba won that one, got it back for Arifa Balaga. Heads go up for it in the midfield. Madueke actually slightly misjudged it, but it bounced down onto his foot, and he can find Nurgard. Now Martinelli, but Devaney is snapping at his heels. Palace making it much more difficult for Arsenal to get any time of possession at the moment. Now Pino can release Mitchell on the left-hand side of the area, but Timber read the danger, came across and sweeps up down by the corner flag, getting clear towards Noni Madueke. Madueke with a poor ball. Palace have it again. In towards Mateta, didn't quite get there. Calafiori saw to that. Now on the edge of the penalty area, Gahey working it forward. Has he won a corner? No, he hasn't. But it's a different game now, 5 minutes into the second half, as Crystal Palace have showed up.
100%. And now we have a game on our hands. The question is, can Crystal Palace keep it up? First of all, the substitutions down that right-hand side, trying to shore it up. Arsenal haven't been able to get the ball down their left at the moment, so well done so far, very early in the second half. Second of all, actually, they're wanting to have the ball. Third of all, they're receiving the ball and passing it. suddenly it's amazing what can happen when you have the courage to receive it, pass it, play 1-2 touch and work your way forward. So it's a much better start to the second half than the whole of the first.
Had a couple of conversations at half-time, saying to Arsenal supporters, well, you should be 4-5-0 up. Palace can't possibly be as bad in the second half, and sure enough, they haven't been. It's been a good response. Oliver Glasner seeing what was wrong and going a long way to being able to sort it out at the moment. Much more attacking intent from his team at the beginning of this second period with Talksport, and a very good afternoon to you as well if you're listening in the United States and Canada on Sirius XM FCR. Festive wishes to you across the water. We look forward to joining you in person in June and July. Every game from the World Cup will be on the Talksport network. The ball is inside the D. And it's cleared by Aretha Balaga. Good ball down towards Madueke, who tried to control it and drag it inside Mark Gahey. Couldn't quite get it right. Lerma wins it back, plays it forward. Calafiori should be able to beat Mateta in the chase. Physical presence of Mateta made life difficult for him. And he has won a corner. JP Mateta just chasing after a lost cause, but the pressure on Calafiori steered it behind for Palace's first corner of the night, 0-0.
Again, first of all, good defending from Mark Gahey, making sure he was tight to Noni Madueke. Then they're playing, Lerma's on the ball, he's looking forward, the spaces down the channels. It was a great race, wasn't it, between Mateta and Calafiori, and the strength that he's got, the Crystal Palace centre forward, meant that Calafiori was just diving, just trying to make any type of touch at all, and in the end it's a corner for Palace.
Nearly everybody forward, apart from Mitchell. I think everybody is in and around the edge of the penalty area. Ball in towards the near post, and it's gone into the side netting. Aretha Balaga scampering, did have it covered, but it wouldn't have counted because Stuart Atwell saw a push in the jockeying for position around the edge of the 6-yard box, so it's a free kick to Arsenal. Late gone second half, 0-0.
Such a waste though, whether it was the push, but the corner itself, didn't even get to the sort of where it should be. It's ended up hitting the side netting. And talk about Crystal Palace not being good defensively from set pieces. They've had a couple of free kicks and just completely wasted them. You're Arsenal away. You've been on the back foot the whole of the first half. You've been better in the second half. But when you've got a chance of set pieces, whether it's corner, free kicks, long throws, put them in the right place.
Don't forget, Boxing Day coming up 3 days away. We're the only place on national radio for live football commentary on Boxing Day. We've got plenty of EFL action for you, and the one Premier League game that kicks off at 8 o'clock, Manchester United against Newcastle at Old Trafford, live and exclusive to Talksport. And then week 18 of the Premier League season. The match is played December the 30th and January the 1st. We've got all 10 of those games on the Talksport network. Look, are battling with Devaney here. Arsenal taking on Villa in one of those. It's an 8:15 kickoff, and that is on the night of the 30th, which is probably a Tuesday, but by the time we get there, you won't care. And then New Year's Day, which is definitely a Thursday, it's Palace at home to Fulham, and that's a 5:30 kickoff. That is on Talksport 2. We've got both of those games for you. Arsenal bring the ball forward here with Lewis Skelly. Lacroix can get it away. Wharton has it. The heart of the midfield. He's just pushed it onto his left foot, flicked it down under the feet of the referee, who had to jump to take evasive action. He's found Mark Gahey with the pass. Richards goes out to Klein. Klein knocking it forward over halfway, but straight to Nørgaard. And again, Glasner bobbing up and down, furious at the fact that possession has been surrendered so cheaply. He knows that they can't afford to do that. But they've been much better in this second period than they were in the first. They were always going to be. Another strong challenge comes in the midfield. The ball has gone through towards Benitez. Jesus is still down. He's slapping the ground with the palm of his right hand.
Play on. It's not a head injury, just play on. I don't care what the fans are saying, what Arsenal are saying, play on.
If you're an opposition player, Benitez had the ball at his feet, it's up to the referee to stop it. I totally agree with you. Do you have a look and think, okay, Jesus, he's had a serious injury? Does that come into your thinking at all?
I'm really sorry, but no. Not for 1 second.
No, it shouldn't, or no, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't. Should it? No. Is that negative enough?
That's, pretty big, I'll put you down as a maybe.
I've done it before, though. But again, when you're under pressure and you're playing against a team that you know is better than you, take every little advantage. It's down to the referee to stop the game. It's not a head injury. Of course, we don't want it to be any kind of knee injury again, but it's not down to you to do that. You're under pressure. You're away from home against the top team. Try a quick counter-attack.
Hughes is getting ready. Sosa has been called back as well. It doesn't look as though Sosa necessarily is going to be coming on. Hughes was just taking his coat off and now has put it back on again. So maybe there's an imminent change, but still only in the offing rather than something that is going to happen almost immediately. Hughes actually gets a touch with a ball that is played through the midfield straight out of play, and Hughes has headed it back, trying to head the match ball onto the pitch to stop the throw being taken quickly, to put two balls on the pitch. Didn't work. Lerma lays the ball back for Lacroix from that Arsenal throw, which Palace quickly won back. Calafiori. It's going to be Arsenal that will be making the next change, though. Trossard coming on, you would imagine, for Martinelli. Madueke, right-hand side of the penalty area. Fierce cross. Eza brings it down. Great block from Klein. Now on the edge of the penalty area, Jesus tries to find a way through and can't. Wharton clears. Mateta with Calafiori shadowing him every step of the way, can lay back inside his own half. Klein trying to bring it away, and he's got past Eza's challenge. And now he's in Arsenal territory and continues his run, having played the ball to Mateta to Lerma to Gahey to his left-hand side. He's got Mitchell one stop further down the line and plays him in. And Palace 11 with the edge of the Arsenal box here, with an hour approaching. 0-0 the score. Lerma in a more central area. Back from him to Mark Gahey. Eagles fans finding their voice, sensing now that they are beginning to get a foothold in this game. Klein to Devaney. A pair of them have made a big difference. Lacroix to Gahey. Arsenal fans responding in verbal kind, as you can hear. Here's Wharton coming forward towards the edge of the area. Wharton just wide. He was 25 yards out, got it onto his right foot, arrowed one towards the bottom left-hand corner, and he didn't miss by much.
He certainly didn't, and that's what he does. He lends the ball, doesn't he? Playing a little 1-2, gets the ball onto his right foot. No one's really engaging him. He's 20 yards out. He is on his right foot. He's done absolutely everything right apart from hit the target. And Kepa's diving to his right. He's not 100% sure. It's definitely going wide. We're just looking at a replay of Nathaniel Klein. He comes out really well engaged. It's a brilliant first touch from Ebereeze. His arm is kind of out. It's not in an unnatural position, but it's out. And it hits his arm. It doesn't hit his body. No VAR, of course.
No VAR. That been a European tie? Well, that might have been given. Premier League, I'm not so sure. But with no VAR, it was never likely.
I agree on all three of those.
Here come Arsenal, bringing the ball forward again. Timber. Madueke within touching distance of Oliver Glasner on the edge of his technical area as he picks that up. Madueke's got that again into Marino. Trossard on for Martinelli, as we anticipated. And Palace will bring the ball forward now with Wharton. Down to Mitchell. Mitchell didn't control it neatly, but he still had time to be able to turn. Got the run on Nørgaard. It's back for Wharton. Wharton with a crossfield aerial pass to Klein that he tries to cushion a header into Devaney's path inside the penalty area. Arsenal work it back and Kepa will clear towards halfway, where it's a return by Lacroix to Wharton to Gahey. The first half, we mentioned in commentary, we felt as though it was just a matter of time. Now it's a much more even contest. Palace, right-footed ball inside the penalty area, looking for Mateta. Might break Gahey's way. He's going to be able to get there. Can't get a shot in, but he can pull it back for Mitchell on the corner of the box. Pino, back for Gahey. Curving one in, right-footed towards the far post. Headed down by Devaney, but he couldn't find a teammate. Arsenal clear. And the Palace fans are liking what they're seeing here. 0-0, we've played an hour. We're half an hour away from a shootout.
Yeah, this is so much better from Crystal Palace, and this is what we know they are capable of under Oliver Glasner, who's just gone to the edge of the technical area and give his team a big clap. I mean, no one's listening, no one can see it, but It just goes to show the body language. You mentioned a couple of times how he stormed back to the bench. He wasn't happy in the first half. Now he looks a lot happier.
Palace with a long throw. And it is a proper long throw inside that penalty area. It's bounced awkwardly. Oh, the goalkeeper palms it and then makes the save. Now it's really easy from here. Kepa lets that go over his head. It's gone out of play for a goal kick because you can't score from a throw. In trying to make the save, he very nearly invited a world of problems because had he not taken it cleanly, he's pushing it down for the nearest Palace player. Here's Madueke on the right-hand side, goes out of play for a throw.
Do you know what? You're so right, Jim, because actually no one was around him within 2-3 yards. So he could have just completely let it go, but he was really stretching because it bounced in front of him, then bounced really high. So if he had tipped it onto the bar and it came back out and a Palace player pounced, that would have been a goal.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody, in inverted commas, score from a throw. We'll come back to that in a moment. It came close there. Nurgaard launching a long one inside the Palace penalty area from a throw. It's cleared out to the right-hand side for Timber. Played forward by Lewis Skelly. Saliba down towards Nurgaard again. That's a better ball in towards the penalty spot, but Richards got his head to it twice to clear, and then Calafiori couldn't bring it into his stride. As they're just working around the corner for Leandro Trossard as Arsenal have their turn to come forward and apply the pressure. But the point I'm making about having never seen anybody throw the ball in the net is if you're a goalkeeper, you'll have experienced it so few times, it just must be a natural reaction to try and make the save. You're just not going to be brave enough just to go, oh, no one's touched that, I'll let it go. Here's Madueke towards the edge of the penalty, almost getting it back. And Gahey can knock it clear. Walton will help it on towards Mateta. Walton was fouled. The ball bounces off Mateta. There's no advantage, and Palace have a free kick. I do remember that Birmingham derby. I mean, we're going back more than 20 years. And Peter Enkelman is just going, oh no. Olaf Melberg with the own goal. It just flicked off the foot of Peter Enkelman from the throw that came. I think it was an Enkelman own goal as Birmingham beat Villa at St Andrews on a famous night. Yeah. But I think that's the only time I've ever seen it, and he got a touch. Otherwise, it wouldn't have counted had he let it go.
And in that particular fixture as well, for him to do that, my goodness me. I don't think he probably still has nightmares about it now. But I think you're absolutely right. I think there's only commentators and maybe certain presenters that would know straight away. I'll let that go.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to reach it, so I'd have let it go. Now the ball is with Trossard, and Richards wins it back on the edge of the penalty area, and then Lacroix booms it forward. Mateta's done a lot of chasing tonight. He's cutting quite a weary figure. 18 minutes into this second half, it's 0-0. Saliba is in possession for the Gunners. Winners of this get Chelsea at home for the second leg. First leg at the Bridge on Wednesday the 14th of January, live on Talksport. Arsenal in possession with Eze. Eze has run a full 360 around Devaney there, and now lays it back for Trossard. Coming forward again towards the edge of the penalty area is Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly out towards Trossard, right-footed ball in from him. Madueke coming to meet it, can't get clean contact with a left-footed volley that spoons up and has been given as a goal kick to Walter Benitez and Crystal Palace. My initial reaction to the flight of the ball was that it probably took a deflection, but a goal kick has been given by Stuart Atwell. Benitez will take it, and we're 20 minutes into the second half in a much more even contest now. Still 0-0.
That's the point, isn't it? It was so one-sided in the first half, and yet the only positive Palace could take was that it was still 0-0. But you can't do 90 minutes like that. By making those two substitutions, they've shored up that right-hand side. He's told them to actually have the courage to get on the ball and pass it. It's a game. It's a good game.
Arsenal calling for the cavalry. We're going to see Ødegaard and Saka. And maybe others. It might just be a double change that's imminent. Wharton, clever touch through the midfield for Lerma. One back though by Nurgaard. Trossard just coming into a slightly more central area. Fires it forward towards Madueke. Jesus has peeled away to the right flank now with Marino are just dropping off. He at times is almost playing more of a false 9. He's slightly more advanced, allowing Jesus that little bit of width. Madueke at the moment is the most advanced of the Arsenal central players. Ball is over on the left with Trossard. He's gone to ground. Palace looking to break quickly with Klein. Whistler's gone. And Klein just tapped the ball away. Stuart Atwell isn't going to take any further action, but it is going to be a free kick to Arsenal, but they're going to make the double change first. Now we're going to see Saka and Ødegaard come on for the final quarter of the game. So while Arsenal make this double change, let's go back to Ali Pally and say a very good evening to Ian Danton.
Evening, Jim. Gary Anderson, the two-time world champion, has just seen off a really strong challenge from Connor Scott, the sniper, to win by 3-1. There were times when Anderson was averaging 107, times when he was averaging 112, but he got the job done sensationally, throwing beautifully, so he's through to the round of 16 here at Alexandra Palace. Next up, the three-time world champion Michael Van Gerwen takes on the informed William O'Connor of the Republic of Ireland. That's up next on Talksport 2.
Dan, thank you. And as Dan says, it is live on Talksport 2 for you, and the Talksport Darts channel on YouTube as well. Double change made. Madueke and Eza off. Saka and Ødegaard have come on. Berichi Eza, score of the most significant goal in Palace's history, the score of the only goal the last time these two sides met. A brilliantly taken goal that was so similar to the one that he scored for Palace in the same fixture here last season, but not able to make as much of an impact tonight. Ødegaard straight away standing over this free kick. There's a little sight to know more than that. It was knocked away easily by Mitchell. Trossard couldn't turn in possession. Comes back out for Ødegaard again. Now in the bottom left-hand corner of the penalty area, Trossard getting booed by the Palace fans because of his former Brighton loyalties. Lewis Skelly getting it forward again towards Trossard. Calafiori, and back again. Gets to the byline, can't deliver a decent cross. Richardson, Lacroix, both there. It's come off at Nørgaard and then Klein, and goes out for a corner to Arsenal. They're first of the second half.
Yeah, I think even Mateta was coming back and helping out there as well. If you're Tyrick Mitchell, you go up against Noni Madueke and you've done okay, and then Bukayo Saka comes on.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
And Saka on. Well, he's scored 7 goals this season, and he's waiting on the edge of the D here. Can Arsenal expose this Achilles heel, perceived Achilles heel of Crystal Palace in dealing with set pieces? Trossard with the corner, plenty of air underneath it. Saliba the closest gunner to it. Benitez punched it away. Ødegaard back out towards Trossard again, as the boos will tell you. His ball in towards Calafiori. And now Ødegaard is able to turn. Lewis Skelly back out to the Arsenal left, swung it towards Jesus, and he's headed it wide. Attacked it well, got the run on Richards that time. That hasn't happened all night really, but he's headed it wide of the far post, and Richards has gone down hurt.
Yeah, his movement's so good, isn't it? And if you're going to play the ball into the box, not just to Gabriel Jesus, but against the Gay, Richards and Lacroix, it has to be a flat one. And it was as flat as it could possibly be. And it was just over Lacroix, and he just got in front of Richards. It was a decent header in the end, but he wasn't able to hit the target.
And Richards is still down. The Palace medical staff are administering treatment to him. And this will just allow them the opportunity to regroup, consider what they've achieved in the 25 minutes of the second half so far. They're 20 minutes away from a penalty shootout, and after we're done, Messrs Cundy and O'Hara opening up the sports bar for you. We'll bring you live reaction from the Emirates. Speak to the managers, the headline makers as well. You can have your say on this Carabao Cup quarter-final on the sports bar tonight. 03717223344 is the number. Don't forget, MVG in darts action over on Talksport 2 very shortly. And a reminder that on Boxing Day, all the EFL action that you could wish to shake a stick at for your festive period coming your way, and only here on the Talksport network. Then Manchester United against Newcastle at 8. And then on the 30th, it's Arsenal, Villa and Manchester United Wolves, both kicking off at 8:15. New Year's Day, loads more EFL action. Liverpool Leeds, Palace Fulham, Brentford Tottenham, Sunderland Manchester City. And then on Saturday, Villa against Forest. That's Saturday the 3rd of January. And if you're wondering, well, I can't remember what's where, best way to go about it, get the TalkSport app and click on the tab that says live action. If you can do that, then you will easily be able to navigate your way to the match that you want to hear. Suffice to say, we got them all. Now, this is not looking good for Richards, who's been a linchpin of the Palace back line over the last couple of seasons. He's hardly missed a minute over the course of this season. He's played 25 of the 29 games. But the stretcher is coming on in a low-key manner, being led on by 5 stretcher bearers. I need a few more than that, because Chris Richards is...
It's a big lad.
A big lad.
Well, look, three things there, Jim. Chris Richards, just seeing that on the monitor as well, there's a lot of blood coming out of his sock, so clearly it's very painful indeed for him. You know, he's a big, strong centre-half, and he won't want to be coming off unless he's almost being told to. There's a lot of blood coming out of that sock. So first of all, they're trying to damp it down, compress it, and making sure they stop that. It'll be interesting to see whether he is able to carry on or not. A cut is a cut. How bad is it? He does look a little bit in pain. Second of all, you know, it's 70 minutes, over 70 minutes on the clock now. I wonder how long Gabriel Jesus is going to be able to last. I'd be surprised if he plays the full 90, but, you know, we are heading in towards 70 plus, so will Gyökeres be coming on? And thirdly, I think it's from tomorrow, where, I have no idea what day of the week it is. It's just Christmas Eve onwards.
Yeah, absolutely. You might know the number, certainly don't know the day. And it's broadly irrelevant until about, I don't know, January the 9th?
Yeah, probably.
Something like that. The World Cup will be like that as well, I'll tell you now.
It will.
Richards still down, and as you say, the most important thing they've got to do is stem the flow of blood. I don't know how they would shuffle things around. They could drop Lerma back in at centre-half, would probably be the way that they would go about it, and then you can bring Hughes into midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably what they'd look to do. You know, Lerma, very experienced player, has played, he's not a centre-back obviously, but has played in that position before for Palace. Will Hughes would be an excellent player to come on, very experienced, keep the ball. You know, and I'm not suggesting they are playing for penalties, because the second half has been a lot better. And if you look at the stats and compare them between the second half of the first, it really is chalk and cheese. I mean, what I would say is there's not been a shot on target in the second half from either side.
And again, that is to Palace's credit.
Absolutely.
Because Benitez had to make 4 significant saves in the first period, 3 of them from what are classified as big chances. A phrase that is very much in the data lexicon these days. You know, Richards has a green blanket over him as he is being carried off here. And our very best wishes to him as he leaves the field. Good to see the Arsenal players showing real concern as well, in there with their Palace counterparts, just forgetting about individual loyalties for a moment, just making sure that a player who's hugely respected is comfortable and okay, and he's just being carried off now in front of us. They are making the change we anticipated. So Hughes on, and I'm sure that means that Lerma is going to be the player that's going to drop back in at centre-half. So it'll be Lerma, Lacroix and Gahey as the centre-halves. Then Klein in midfield with Hughes and Wharton and Mitchell. And then Devaney and Pino and Mateta. That's how Palace are at the moment. 15 to go. That break was nearly 6 minutes. So there's going to be a lot of stoppage time. And also, you'd expect it, but it's still great to see. Big ovation from the Arsenal fans as Richards is led in front of them, and Jesus makes his way forward inside the penalty area. He was under immediate pressure and shanked at a shot that's gone high and wide of the near post and out of play for a goal kick. 15 plus plenty to go Arsenal 0, Palace 0, but penalties is edging ever closer.
Yeah, I just wonder whether he could have, if not taken that first time because the ball was bouncing up Jesus, he would have been on the edge of the box, or just taken a touch and then quickly that first touch, shoot second touch. And you know, when you've been playing regularly, you're on form, your body's 100%. You know, that sort of thing comes naturally, especially to someone like him who's a very, very technical player. And in the end, he had the shot, it was over, and his balance was all over the place. He fell over as well.
Got that 27-minute hat-trick against Palace in the League Cup last season. Wharton with some wonderful skill there. He just never looks phased or under any pressure in midfield. Seems to just have more time on the ball than anyone else. He's seeing things in 75 frames a second, while the rest of us only see it 25.
No, absolutely. The top players, and although they're different types of players, they play in the same position. Elliot Anderson's another one who the good players play at their pace, and everyone seems to be running around them, and they look as if they're strolling, but they know, one, exactly what they're going to do before they receive the ball. Two, their technique is so good, and three, their composure and passing is excellent as well. So yeah, great bit of skill there from Wharton.
Scott was detailing the difference in the statistics in the first half and second half. Just to add some numbers to that, first half possession 79-21, second half it's been 58-42, so Palace have had twice as much of the ball as they had in the first half. The shot count 4-3 in the second half, it was 12-2 in the first 45. Here's Benitez, whose big save seemed a long time ago now. He hasn't had an awful lot to do since half-time. Norgard heading the ball forward, helped on by Marino, and then cleared by Lacroix. Norgard in there very strongly, winning the battle against Hughes, but Palace can pick up the loose ball. Pino forward towards Mateta. Great sliding challenge from Saliba through the penalty area, where he had to win it cleanly. He doesn't make the challenge, Mateta probably scores. If he gets the challenge wrong, it's a penalty. Saliba's defending was excellent. Palace get a corner with 12 minutes to go.
Yeah, it's great defending. At first I thought Pino, it's a poor pass from him, but actually the way that Saliba just kind of drops off and then uses his pace. Still, I think the way he's passed the ball, Pino, is the inside of his foot, so it's kind of curled towards Saliba rather than away from him, giving Mateta no real chance.
It's only Palace's second corner of the night, and it's going to be taken on the right flank. Devaney sweeping it into a very congested 6-yard box, and it was cleared on the line by Kepa. Aretha Balaga, did he get his knee to that to knock it away? Back it comes in again. Ricochets around inside the penalty area. Arsenal dig it clear. Ødegaard trying to help it further away. Palace winning it back with Wharton. Now Norgard getting it forward. Wharton didn't for a moment know which way to turn. And Trossard can emerge with possession and play it down to the right-hand side for Saliba. Cleverly worked round the corner for Ødegaard. Trossard continuing his run forward towards the edge of the box. Slips it to his left for Marino. Right-footed effort tipped over the bar by Benitez to deny Gabby Jesus the comeback goal on his first start in 11 and a half months. Another fine moment from Walter Benitez to keep it at 0-0.
Another brilliant save. Have to say, great teamwork by Arsenal. 1-2 touch play. And Gabriel Jesus, I mean, look, if there is to be a winner after him being out for so long, it'd be pretty apt if it was him. He gets it on target. It's a great save from Benitez, who for some reason starts pulling his calf as if he's got cramp. I'm not quite sure why he's got cramp, but another brilliant save.
Another Arsenal corner. It's their 6th of the night. Bukayo Saka across to take it. Couple of steps forward, heads it down at the far post. He's put in. It's taken a touch on his way through, and Arsenal have the lead. It has taken them 80 minutes. Saka's delivery towards the far post, headed down, and then bundled over the line. Saliba was in there, might have hit a Palace player last, potentially Maxence Lacroix. But the other night at Leeds, they're undone by 4 set pieces. And that same Achilles heel has been struck tonight. Great delivery from Saka. I think it'll go down as Lacroix own goal. And with 10 minutes to go, Arsenal lead Palace 1-0.
Yeah, the fact that no Arsenal player really cheered or ran off themselves, they all ran towards Saka, told me immediately that's an own goal. Still watching a replay of it, it's amazing how it's happened. It's a great ball in. Benitez can't get there. Calafiori's had a go, Timber's had a go. Has it come off Lacroix? He's headed it. Mitchell's standing there. It's such a poor goal to concede, isn't it? If you're going to lose to Arsenal, and it was getting to the point where I was going to say next goal wins it, you don't concede like that. But it's another one, a set piece, isn't it? The numbers are there, and yet somehow the ball has found its way into the box, into the goal.
An 80th minute Maxence Lacroix own goal, and he just stuck a right foot out at it to try and divert it away from Saliba. But he managed that part of it, but it just went bobbled up towards the far post, and Mitchell couldn't clear it off the line. Scrappy goal. Another own goal here. Arsenal, remember, had that extraordinary game against Wolves where Wolves scored all 3 goals and Arsenal won. And 10 days on, they benefited from another own goal tonight. 1-0 to the Arsenal, the famous refrain that echoes round. Last 3 goals scored by Arsenal here have all been own goals. Jesus, right-hand side of the penalty area, can't find a way through past Mitchell. And he goes out for a throw. They're probably 14 or 15 minutes worth of playing action left yet. So it's not job done as far as the Gunners are concerned. But in a low-scoring encounter, 1-0 feels like a pretty hefty lead.
Yeah, it does. It does. It looked like, for all the world, that both teams were trying to get the goal. Certainly Arsenal were, especially being at home, who weren't quite able to do it. And look, it's an own goal, and people might turn around and say, oh, lucky Arsenal, but they put the ball in the right place. That's what Arsenal do.
Norgard throwing one inside the penalty area, and Palace haven't been able to deal with that particularly effectively. Comes back out for him again, and the Dane has looped one up, a little hitch kick towards the far post that's gone wide. How to play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Benitez. He certainly doesn't deserve to be on the losing side tonight. Nothing that he could have done about the one that has beaten him. Arsenal leading 1-0 with 7 minutes plus a stack of stoppage time to go.
Again, Jim, it was, positional play from Arsenal where they are. Can't remember who it was standing in front of Benitez, but it meant that Benitez, and he wasn't fouling him, but wasn't able to come out. The ball's gone into the 6-yard box, and as a defender myself, I've always thought if the ball's in the 6-yard box, I want my keeper claiming it. But because the Arsenal player's there in front of him, he's not able to do it. And then, of course, the chaos that followed has ended in Arsenal scoring the goal, and may well be the goal that takes them to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup.
Lerma getting angry, has won a free kick, but then has given Trossard a real shove to the ground as soon as the decision has gone his way. The ref just has a little word. I think he's officiated the game really well tonight. I like Stuart Atwell as a referee a lot. He's kept his cards in his pocket. He hasn't had to. He's just policed it really well. Declan Rice is going to be coming on for Arsenal. 6 to go. And he'll be on after this Palace free kick, and Christantas Uche is going to be coming on for Palace as well. Free kick is taken, just swung a high straight one to the right hand side of the penalty area. It's beaten everybody and gone past them all straight out for a goal kick. Palace not getting themselves into that kind of position often enough to be as profligate with set pieces as that. So here's the Arsenal change. Rice coming on. He'll replace Gabby Jesus, which will probably see Marino go through the middle, but Jesus guaranteed a huge reception as he leaves the field. He will be delighted. This is the day that he was praying for, to be back in the starting lineup after 345 days away.
Yeah, it's a shame if Arsenal are going to win 1-0 that it wasn't he who got the winning goal, but still, it's been a really impressive performance from him. I'm surprised he's lasted this long, to be totally honest with you. But well done to him. He ran the channels well. His movement was good, even towards the end, trying to take on players, not as if he was running in treacle. And he should go home and say to his little girl, look, I was on the telly tonight.
And judging by that wonderful letter that he wrote, she will have watched it at least for 30 seconds before she turned away to go and play David and Goliath elsewhere.
Well, she might have watched it while listening to Talksport, of course.
Yeah. 4.5 minutes to go. I bet she didn't. 4.5 minutes to go. I'm not sure that...
It'd have been 20 seconds if you'd been listening.
Yeah, I don't think our references from popular culture necessarily hit the mark with a 3-year-old whose Portuguese is her first language. I'm just guessing. Ødegaard, back for Declan Rice. Rice to Lewis Skelly. Chip it forward. Probably past their bedtime. She'll be listening tomorrow morning on the app. The ball out of play for a throw. Taken quickly by Arsenal down the left-hand side for Trossard. Trossard's been able to win a corner. Just tried a little backheel flick there. And the decision, much to the wrath of Arsenal fans on the far side, has been given Palace's way. It's a throw that Klein will take. So probably about 10 minutes worth of action to go now. We're in the 87th minute. But what Crystal Palace need to do if they're going to be able to get themselves back into this game to give themselves a chance in a penalty shootout, they've got to create more opportunities, because much as they were much better in the opening 25 minutes of this second half, they too have faded and haven't really been able to create too much in probably the last 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I agree. Again, that's what Arsenal do. You have to score when you're on top against Arsenal, because you're not going to be on top very often. And they weren't quite able to do that. Then it looked like it would go out to be, perhaps 0-0 and penalties. There's not a lot Oliver Glasner can do now. He's brought on Uche. I think he perhaps could have done that even a little bit earlier. I think Pino has another disappointing game, really. But he's got to sit back and just hope his players can somehow find something and take this to pens.
So Uche on. And he's playing in Pino's role, which is probably his favourite position. He has seen a little bit of action as a striker in recent weeks. He scored in his last 2 European appearances, Kristantas Uche, and he's chasing now. But Arsenal have been able to play round him and work it down through the midfield. Timber couldn't get there. Hughes has got it. Hughes in towards Uche, and a better ball could have caused problems. He can still chip it in, but has just flicked it over the roof of the net and straight out of play for a goal kick. Better ball from Hughes for Uche there, and you never know.
Do you know what? It was a terrible cross from Uche. It really was, sort of behind the goal, but Hughes had a chance to play him in. I think it was either him or Mateta. And I'm not saying he made a bad choice, but the execution of that choice was terrible. He's much better than that. And in a game where you just got minutes left, and you're right, I think we're going to have at least 6, perhaps even up to 8 minutes injury time, but you're not going to have many chances against this Arsenal side, and that was definitely one to create an opportunity to score.
Here's the first yellow card of the night. It's gone to Kepa Arrizabalaga for time wasting. He'd spotted the ball down to take a goal kick and then picked it up to move the ball across the edge of his 6-yard box. So he's entitled to take that goal kick from wherever he wants, but I think it was the fact that he had put it down and addressed it, and only then did he change his mind that got on the wrong end of the referee. So Kepa booked. First yellow card as an Arsenal player. Still hasn't conceded a goal as an Arsenal player, and if you can still say that in 15 minutes time, then it is the Gunners against Chelsea in a mouth-watering Carabao Cup 2-legged semi-final. Particularly mouth-watering for him, you would imagine. Ball forward from Calafiori. Saka chasing it. Gay, his international teammate, heads it away from him. Walton is in there. He loses out to Rice. That's another intriguing battle between those two at the moment. Rice winning the latest instalment, trying to help it on towards Trossard. Lerma, who's on the right of the Palace back three at the moment, just goes across, shepherds the ball out of play. Trossard's giving him a shove. I think that's a hangover from what happened off the ball about 5 minutes ago. Well, the referee has said no, play on with a throw. Lerma will take that throw. Well, it's another huge throw down the right-hand touchline that bounces awkwardly. Calafiori heads it away. Knocks it down towards Marino. Oh, how's he squeezed that through? He's been able to find Ødegaard. Trossard might have been offside had he gone for it. The ball was worked wider instead, out to the left-hand touchline. Rice battling, loses out. Palace should be able to bring it away. It is 9 extra minutes. Richards down for 6.5. We've had a raft of changes as well. So 9 extra minutes to be added. And that's what separates Arsenal from a place in the last 4. Palace hoping to get through to the semi-finals for the first time since 2012. It's the first time they've made successive League Cup quarter-finals for 33 years. The last one that they won 14 years ago, back in 2012. A success at Old Trafford with goals from Darren Ambrose and then in extra time from Glenn Murray to give them a 2-1 success that day. Never made it to the League Cup final. And it's going to be quite late and quite dramatic if they still in with a chance of doing so this season. Here's Calafiori. 8 minutes of stoppage time to go. Ball play forward towards Marino. It's 1-0 to Arsenal after the Lacroix own goal. Timber chases here. Gahey turning in trouble inside his own penalty area. Timber trying to flick it square for Saka. And Benitez again comes out and spares his side's blushes. I'll tell you something, if this does go to penalties, I'm not backing against Walter Benitez with the night he's had.
I think he'll save every one. He's been brilliant. I mean, no Arsenal player's been able to beat him tonight. He's come out very, very quickly. It's a wonderful save.
Gahey playing himself into trouble on the edge of the 6-yard box. It was great tenacity from Timber, and it was the Dutchman that had the goal-bound shot that Benitez could deal with. Two players that would have come up against each other in the Netherlands. So a corner to Arsenal, their 7th of the night. And it'll be taken on the left-hand side by Declan Rice, hitting very deep and almost headed goal-bound. It was cleared just before he got to Nørgaard. Palace will push out. Uche's the out ball, but they couldn't find him. Aretha Balaga will boom another long one back towards the edge of the Palace penalty area, which is headed down and then hit high up into the sky. A steepling clearance from Klein that Mateta misjudges, but Uche can send it down, and then it's on towards Devaney from Mateta. But Nørgaard had come back, covered his run, and he's able to get it away on the edge of his own penalty area. Still 1-0 to Arsenal, Scott Minto. 6.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, they've got to hold on. I mean, this Arsenal side is more than capable of that, but it just takes one moment, one mistake, one bit of brilliance, one ball into the box, causing a bit of chaos, which at this moment in time is the difference between the two sides. Why not down the other end?
Lines open now for you to have your say on tonight's action on the Sports Bar. 0371722 3344. Following the conclusion of this game. Another long throw from Palace. Hoiked in by Lerma, headed away by Marino, comes back outside the penalty area to Klein. Off balance, all he can do is loop a left-footed ball forward, and it bounces on the edge of the penalty area and then just plops straight into the hands of Kepa Arrizabalaga, who is given the count by Stuart Atwell. He got rid of the ball in time, and Calafiori has it now and has played it back. Kepa with the ball at his feet, down towards Timber. We're in the 94th minute, 9 added here. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Saka beaten in the air well by Gahey, headed down towards Devaney. Devaney has done really well. Oh, he's kept it in on the left-hand touchline. Saliba's wrestled him to the ground. That's a free kick to Palace. 12 yards from the corner flag, foot or so in from the left-hand touchline. And I think Saliba has escaped the yellow card that you and I both thought he was going to get.
It's a guaranteed yellow, and I don't know why. We're talking about how well Stuart Atwell has refereed the game, and he really has, but you know, that's a poor decision. Might not make any difference. Again, and we're just literally just a few minutes left. It's all about the moments. Can you put the ball in the right area?
Palace haven't had too many set pieces. Those they have had have been poorly executed. Can they get this one right? It doesn't look as though the wall's 10 yards away. Wharton is going to take this free kick. Left-footed. It's hit in very deep. Heads go up for it. It's headed down. Oh, and he's side-footed in for the equalising goal. 1-1. Mark Gahey. Set piece at either end. And the Palace fans delirious away to our right-hand side. Ball that wasn't dealt with as Wharton swung it in. And Gahey was there to poke it over the line. And in the 5th minute of added time, it's Arsenal 1, Palace 1.
And who's to say, in terms of the second half performance anyway, that Palace don't deserve it? I think over the whole 90 minutes, Arsenal have been the better side, but Palace have come back into it. And again, the importance of set pieces. They're back in fashion now, aren't they? Get the ball in the right place. It's a great header down. Was that from Jefferson Lerma? And Mark Gurley's able to just read it. It's a great little finish, it really is. It's bounced just before him and he's just let it come on to him and sort of pushed it on through Kepa's legs. He's got no chance whatsoever. Wow. Looks like we're heading to penalties.
Gahey on 90 plus 5. 1-1 the score. And understandably, Oliver Glasner could not hide his delight. Lerma getting the jump on Calafiori significantly as the ball was played. It was a good header down. I think Calafiori would be really disappointed. He's now receiving a little bit of treatment. Don't know whether it's contact lens trouble, perhaps, that he's got in his left eye. Maybe he got just a finger in the eye. But the kickoff hasn't taken place yet. And Calafiori being attended to just on the edge of his own penalty area. So Glasner's called the Palace players over to him. And just the last briefing as to how he wants them to approach the 4 minutes of playing time that we've got left here. It's 1-1 with penalties very much on the agenda now.
Do you know what? It's really surprising considering how good Arsenal have been in set pieces, certainly going forward. But defensively, it was almost a 2v1 at the back post, and it wasn't like a really fizzed-in low cross. It was quite hanging towards the far post, and in the end, Calafiori kind of got there, but wasn't able to, and Lerma's just had a standing jump. It's not as if he's come and run and jumped, he's jumped above everybody. So I think positionally, talk about how good Arsenal are with set pieces and set piece coaches, well, that wasn't very good.
They've only ever won once on this ground. James MacArthur, the likeable Scotsman, got the winner here in a 3-2 success back in 2019. The previous success that they have had, I think, was the day, that John Jensen scored for Arsenal, but Palace won 3-1 here back in 1994. It would stand to be corrected. Apologies if I've got that wrong. But they've only had one success away to Arsenal in more than 30 years. Is one going to come tonight on penalties? Remember, they haven't knocked the Gunners out of a cup since 1970. Never played in a League Cup final. But they've now got a chance of getting to the semis. It's 1-1. We've played 98. Probably still 3 minutes of time to be added because of the celebrations and then the problem for Calafiori. Uche has gone down. He's claiming a free kick. I think the referee has rightly waved those appeals away. Saliba to Calafiori. Back inside his own penalty area for Kepa Arrizabalaga. It's 1-1.
Do you remember you said Benitez made his 5th or 6th save if somehow Palace are able to take this to penalties?
Sosa's going to be coming on for Palace in a moment, and you would imagine that is with a view to taking the penalty. Saka chipping a ball through the penalty area. Declan Rice has got it. It's 1-1 here. The 9th minute of added time. Nørgaard, little reverse ball inside the penalty area. Great turn by Lewis Skelly. Wins the corner after a good block from Lerma. Corner to Arsenal on a night where set pieces have conjured up the most significant moments of the night. Rice across to take this latest one. It's 1-1. Will Arsenal find a winner in 90 plus 10? Marino, watched by Hughes, makes a run towards the penalty spot. Second ball is thrown on the pitch from the Palace fans away to our right-hand side. That's been retrieved by Ødegaard. So in comes the Rice corner. Swung in very deep again. Calafiori going up for it. It's headed away. Saka back in. Headed away. Ødegaard brings it down. Back out to Rice. Rice on the bottom left-hand corner of the box. Another swerving ball. Headed away by Lacroix. And then Saka not fouled by Wharton. Right on the edge of the penalty area. Referee says play on. And Palace do. And Wharton shipped it over the top. Mateta chases. Kepa hooks it away outside his box and finds Marino. He goes to ground. He is fouled. It's a free kick to Arsenal inside their own half. Saka is arguing that it should have been a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. And now Palace will make the change. And Mitchell coming off to be replaced by Sosa.
Nah, not a foul at all. In fact, it wasn't even in the box, so it wouldn't have been a penalty. Not a foul, maybe the slightest of contacts, but not having that at all.
Well, whatever happens from here, it's going to make for a fascinating sports bar to listen to on our way home tonight. 0371 722 3344. So we're in the 11th minute of added time. I reckon there's probably a minute left. Hard to judge.
Max. Can't be that. I know it said 8, but can't be that much more on top. The goal's been scored, obviously.
Aretha Balaga raises his left arm above his head. He's 8 yards inside his own half as he sends this long free kick forward. Arsenal hoping to score with just about the last phase of play. Headed away, then further cleared by Hughes. Lewis Skelly put under pressure. Calafiori hooks it over his own shoulder. Back to the edge of the Palace penalty area. Lerma going up for that is beaten. Lewis Skelly and Timber both in there. Timber trying to help it on. Flicked on them by Declan Rice. Cleared by the off-balance Sosa. Uche going up for that. Just shoves Erdegaard under the flight of the ball. Play goes on. Uche then trying to win it back, but has fouled Lewis Skelly, and it's a free kick to Arsenal on the edge of the centre circle. Still time to take it. Glasner can't understand why there's still time to take it. All I can suggest, and with 2.5 minutes over the 9 that was stipulated, it's because of the substitutions and the problem for Calafiori. So one last Arsenal attack. It's 1-1. Penalties in the offing, but can Arsenal win it? Saka's ball in, volley towards goal, it's blocked. Rice is in there, Benitez saves, gathers at the second attempt, and that is that. And we go into penalties for the right to meet Chelsea in the League Cup semi-final. Great comeback from Palace in the second half. Should have been dead and buried and out of it at half-time. Woeful in the first half, much improved in the second. Arsenal score with 10 minutes to go from a Lacroix own goal. Gahey equalised in the 5th minute of stoppage time. It's 1-1 and the penalty shootout's coming your way.
Wow, the drama of it, absolutely sensational on Talksport. Just a few seconds shy of 102 minutes of football and they can't be separated. And you did think first half Arsenal should be home and dry, 0-0 at half-time, and then they come out, get a very fortunate goal and then concede. They can't hold on to it. And you know what they call Arsenal? Set piece FC. Their own fans were singing set piece again, ole ole, when they took the lead with a set piece, and then they conceded an injury time equaliser from a set piece. The third time Arsenal have conceded a stoppage time goal in their last 5 games. And here's another stat that may well astound you. The Gunners have won their last 3 games. Had they won tonight, they'd have won their last 3 games without any Arsenal player scoring a goal from open play. They've had 3 own goals and a Gyökeres penalty. And it's come to haunt them now because they've got to go to penalties in this game. And Walter Benitez, I mean, his save at the end, Scott Minto, with Declan Rice closing in on the winner. That save at the end, it was a bundle. He had to be brave, he had to be strong, and he had to get his hands on the ball, and he did exactly that, Benitez.
Hey, don't even bother, whatever happens in the penalty shootout, don't even bother asking me the question of man of the match, because you know where I'm going with it. He has been absolutely sensational, and Jim said it, and I kind of half thought it, but I kind of didn't believe it. That I didn't think Arsenal would concede, but he made another save. And when Jim said, well, if it goes to 1-1 and it goes to penalties, then boy, will they have Walter Benitez to thank for. I thought, I don't see that happening. And you're absolutely right from a defensive point of view with Arsenal. But what a game he has had. And do you know what? Well done to Crystal Palace. Completely outplayed, looked as if they're out on the feet, had nothing left at half-time. He turned it around, he made a couple of substitutions, he shored up that right-hand side, and from then on it was really tight. It looked like one goal would win it, but well done. You know, they put the ball in the right area. Jefferson Lerma, brilliant from him as well. He had to drop in, be a centre-half, it's not his proper position, but he defended really well and made a really good challenge towards the end. But that header leading towards Mark Gahey's goal was absolutely key. So well done to him, and well done to Mark Gahey, not necessarily for the goal, but just what a professional, what a player, what a guy to have in your team, and the way he handled himself, where it looked like he was going to, you know, make that move to Liverpool in the summer, and he's just no toys out the pram, just been the proper professional and leader that Crystal Palace need him to be. What a guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. But quick question on Gahey, he didn't celebrate, he didn't even smile after he scored. And I was shocked by that. Any reason for that? Is he moving to Arsenal?
No, no idea.
What's going on?
Do you think you scored
an equaliser in injury time in a cup quarter final. You'd go ballistic, wouldn't you? You'd lose your mind.
Can you sign you can sign move into a club within the same country on January the 1st, can you? I don't think he's going to do that. But, well, I don't know. I've no idea. But who cares if you're a Palace fan? He's put the ball in the back of the net, and we're going to penalties.
Well, the Stuart Atwell is tossing the coin with Gay and Odegaard as we head towards penalties. Interesting to see David Raya with Kepa Arrizabalaga on the touchline, giving him encouragement, giving him a big hug. Mikel Arteta giving the keeper a big hug as well. Oliver Glasner had all his Palace players and staff in a big huddle, a big circle, giving them a pep talk as well. And so we'll find out who the penalty takers are going to be very shortly as we get ready for it. There's a little handshake between Benitez and Kepa just on the edge of the centre circle. The penalties will be taken away to our left. So the Arsenal fans will be at that end. So it's away from the Crystal Palace fans, who, by the way, absolutely magnificent tonight, the Crystal Palace fans. Even when they were terrible, even when they were 1-0 down, they were making a hell of a lot of noise. And when they equalised, wow, that was some celebration. As they say, limbs in the away end here at the Emirates. But somehow, after that ridiculous first half when Arsenal, to say they're on top is an understatement, but somehow we've got to full-time and it's all square. It finished Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1, so we're straight to pens, and with the drama of the shootout, it's Scott Minto and Jim Proudfoot.
The penalties will be taken away to our left-hand side in front of the Arsenal fans. It will be the Gunners that go first. The last penalty shootout was the day that Gabby Jesus got injured. They lost that. That was against Manchester United here in the third round of the FA Cup. On that occasion, Ødegaard took the first penalty and scored it, and he is coming forward to take the first one tonight. Rice, Trossard and Saka, you would imagine, will be following him. So Ødegaard to go first against Walter Benitez, already the Palace hero tonight. It's a curve run from Ødegaard, left-footed, and he sent Benitez the wrong way with a great penalty. So first blood to Arsenal. Benitez was in goal for that League Cup third round shootout victory against Millwall, where he saved 2 out of 4. Will he be able to make an impression tonight? So the only player, well, there are 2 players to have missed one this season from the spot. One of them is Mateta, who missed against RZ in Europe. He has scored 5 of his 6 penalties all told this season in matches and shootouts for Palace. He will go first. Arsenal fans behind that goal, making life as difficult as possible, waving scarves. He's just side-footed it, rolled it cheekily past Kepa. A penalty apiece. It's 1-1, Scott.
2 good pens, 2 really good pens. Keeper's gone the wrong way. And Mateta was very calm, and you're right to mention the Arsenal fans. They're not only loud, but just waving their hands and their phones and their lights and anything they've got in their hand to try and put him off. They certainly didn't do that as Declan Rice steps up now.
So Rice to go next. He also scored his penalty in that shootout against Manchester United last season. It was Havertz that went second on that occasion, but obviously not part of Arsenal's lineup for the foreseeable future. So Rice going second tonight. Deep breath, hits it right-footed. Benitez went the right way. He's beaten for pace. Another good penalty. 3 of them so far. And it's 2-1 to Arsenal. And Justin Devaney will be next up for Palace. Devaney, who scored his penalties in each of the shootouts that he's played in this season. Community Shield won against Liverpool, the Palace won. And the third round League Cup tie against Millwall, which they won. He scored his penalty against Leeds at the weekend. But it's a big moment for the young man, who retrieves the ball from near the penalty spot. Kepa Arrizabalaga is just being told by Stuart Atwell to make his way back and take his place on the line. Devaney with a longer run-up than anybody has had so far. Runs up, addresses it left-footed, and he's pinged it into the top left-hand corner. Great penalty. 2-2 after 2 penalties each.
Jim, we've had 4 really, really good penalties. I think Declan Rice kind of pinged it almost down the middle as Benitez almost dived out the way. And Devaney there stepped up, very cool. And I think even if Kepa had gone the right way, I'm not sure he would have saved it.
Next up, Bukayo Saka. And he's scored his penalty in each of the last 3 shootouts in which he's played for the Gunners. He spots the ball down now. He takes 3 very deliberate steps back. Saka up against Benitez. And the whole ground pauses. Saka rolls it into the inside netting in the bottom right-hand corner. Calm as you like. Gave the goalkeeper the eyes and sent him the wrong way. And Benitez has been brilliant tonight. He stood no chance with that.
It's a brilliant pen. It's not as if he's kind of waited to the last minute and for Benitez to go one way. He's decided where he's going to put it, but I don't care. Like I said in the last one, if Benitez had gone the right way, don't care how good a game he's had, he ain't saving that. That's gone right into the inside of the side netting.
Well, Will Hughes has been on the field for both of the shootouts that Palace have won this season, but didn't take one in either. Needs must tonight. And that's to keep it at 3-3. And he's done it. Went down the middle, took the aerial route. Guessed that Kepa was going to dive. And we've seen 6 perfect penalties.
Do you know what? You need so much courage to do that, because you're putting it down the middle and you're putting it high down the middle. So first of all, you're hoping the goalkeeper does dive. And second of all, you better make sure you keep it underneath that crossbar, which most people would think that's a pretty easy thing to do. But when you're under this type of pressure from 12 yards out, it's really not. It's a brilliant penalty.
Well, over the last 4 shootouts that Arsenal have had, they've only got 4 players who've taken penalties within those 4 who are on the field at the moment. And Trossard is the 4th of them to take the penalty. So those 4 have gone 1-4 in the batting order tonight. So it's 3-3 after 3 penalties apiece. Whose nerve will fail them? Trossard shuffles to his left-hand side, runs up, stops. Thought for a moment that he clipped that over the bar. He hasn't. It's another good penalty into the underside of the roof of the net. 4-3 Arsenal.
As the pressure rises, so does the quality of the penalties. What a penalty that was from Leandro Trossard. Could have put 2 keepers in there and they wouldn't have saved it.
Next up, Sosa, who missed his penalty in the shootout against Liverpool in the Community Shield. Aretha Balaga really taking his time and making his way back to his line. Arms up above his head. Claps his hands. Sosa, great penalty into the bottom left-hand corner. So we are effectively in sudden death. 4-4 after 4 penalties apiece. Next up for Arsenal, it's going to be Mikel Merino.
You don't really want to be number 5, do you? I mean, you can take the glory, but Arsenal are first, and that will always be the advantage. And the pressure's always on the team that goes second. But we are in sudden death.
4 penalties each, and all 8 have been scored. Merino now against Walter Benitez. Merino left-footed. And the goalkeeper committed himself, and Merino just rolled it past him into the vacant half of the goal. So Arsenal have scored all 5 of theirs. And it really is a proper test of nerve now. Jefferson Lerma goes next for Crystal Palace. He has to score, or Arsenal are through. And Aretha Balaga does his bit to try and whip up the crowd. It is a noticeably slow and nervy walk from the Colombian to pick up the loose ball on the edge of the penalty area and spot it down now. And again, Aretha Balaga is just testing his patience and that of the referee by only slowly retreating to his line. Lerma's got to score, or Arsenal are through. It's a jittery run up, and he scored quite beautifully. Again, sending Kepa the wrong way. 5-5, and nobody's missed yet.
Jim, that was a really slow walk up, and it was a jittery run up as well. It doesn't matter. Can you put the ball in the back of the net? He absolutely does that. I'm not sure Kepa's gone the right way in any of them so far.
Well, he might only have to go the right way for one of them. Calafiori is next up for Arsenal. And as a sixth penalty taker, you're already very much in the domain of the people that didn't want to take one. Calafiore, a longer run-up than many of the 10 that have preceded him, hits it left-footed, straight down the middle, and again Benitez dived and committed himself. And again, Crystal Palace know that they've got to score to stay in the cup. Adam Wharton is the man that has the responsibility on his hefty shoulders.
Yeah, Walter Benitez is... If Palace are to get through, he's got to somehow at least go the right way. To be fair to the penalty takers, they've been superb, but the goalkeepers, I'm not sure Benitez has gone the right way yet. And the pressure is always on Crystal Palace.
Not only is the pressure always on Crystal Palace, but it intensifies with every penalty. Scarves again being waved around the head. It's Adam Wharton, and that is another magnificent penalty. It's hit the inside netting just past the right-hand post. 6-6 after 6 penalties apiece. This has been an exhibition in how to deal with the nerve and pressure of a shootout.
Do you know what? It was the Carabao Cup final a few years ago, wasn't it, where Kepa ended up taking it. I think the ball's still going around orbit at the moment. I wonder if he's thinking, oh no, am I going to have to take one here?
Well, next up is Timber. And he's another player that has made the walk forward really nervously. Puts the yellow ball down on the penalty spot. It's not the biggest run-up at all. Benitez trying to make the goal look as small as possible. And it's an excellent penalty, one of the best of the lot. He has fired it with real whip from a short run-up into the top left-hand corner. 7-6 Arsenal. Nobody's missed yet. And Kristantas Uche is offering a silent prayer as he makes his way forward that he won't be the first.
No, I mean, just looking at him, he's just had a quick look up and saying, please, big man, help me. He doesn't want to be taking this once you get to 7. But what you got to say about Ewan Timber's penalty, I mean, it's almost as if the penalties are getting better.
Uche's put it down. He's almost jogged back to his mark. It's a straight run up, and he's run up right-footed and slots it past Aretha Balaga, who again has committed himself. He's almost gone the same way for every penalty he's faced, Kepa. Just hoping that somebody will actually slot one towards that bottom left-hand post. Painting by numbers from a goalkeeper in a shootout.
It's incredible, isn't it?
He hasn't hit yet.
Just wonder whether it's worth trying to wait until the last second. They can't all go in the corner, although at the moment they are.
Saliba will take the 8th one for Arsenal. He's got Lewis Skelly, Norgard and Aretha Balaga to follow him, if necessary. Saliba up against Benitez, right-footed, another great penalty as Benitez dived to his left, and Saliba saw which way he was going to go and puts it into the opposite corner. 8-7 to Arsenal after 15 perfect penalties.
What number does it get to where the managers start taking them?
309. It's the longest penalty shootout you've ever seen. I've seen a 36 penalty shootout.
My goodness.
If this is a 36 penalty shootout, I'm missing the last train home for Christmas.
About to say that.
But that's of little consequence. It's Lacroix next for Palace. And again, he's got to score. Lacroix against Kepa Arrizabalaga, saved it! The Raw tells you everything you need to know. This time Kepa dived to his right-hand side and the ball hit him. Maxence Lacroix, the man that scored the own goal, has missed the decisive penalty in the shootout. And Arsenal are through to the semis. And Palace's long wait to beat the Gunners in a cup tie will go in to a 55th season. Heartbreak as far as the Eagles are concerned. They've done so well to manoeuvre themselves back into a position to earn the shootout after that Mark Gahey goal. It only took one miss out of 16 penalties in the shootout, but that miss was Maxence Lacroix. And it's Arsenal that make it through to set up a barnstorming two-legged League Cup semi-final against Chelsea in the new year. That is really something to look forward to. Tonight, it's finished Arsenal 1, Palace 1, and Arsenal win it 8-7 on penalties.
And what a penalty shootout as well. Some brilliant penalties from Arsenal and from Palace as well. The Gunners make it through to the semi-final with Chelsea. I've got a couple of questions though before the sports bar gets underway and takes your calls. 03717 223344. And the first one, Scott Minto, is Lacroix scored an own goal. He's missed the crucial penalty as well. Where's his captain, Mark Gahey? Why isn't he taking a penalty? He scored in the game. Surely should be taking a penalty when it gets to that stage, number 8. I mean, where were we going to get to before the captain stepped up?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I don't know is the honest answer. You want your captain, your leaders to step up. And when you got a centre-half taking it and your captain is the other centre-half, then perhaps he should well have done that. I don't know, we'll find out afterwards. But if Max Lacroix felt that he was capable of doing it, I mean, you get to those numbers and you don't really want to be taking them. And it did look like, once you get towards the end, it's about the goalkeepers trying to make sure they get the right way. I said about don't guess, just try and look at the body language, wait to the very last second, and that was not a good penalty. So if it had gone the wrong way, you'd have said, oh, that's a good pen. No, he went the right way in the end, and you know, it's a shame for Crystal Palace. The pressure was always on them being second, but we saw some top class penalties tonight.
Well, listen, I mean, I've just seen Gahey on the pitch just there, having a chat and a light-hearted conversation. There were a few smiles, a couple of laughs with Madueke and Saka. I mean, you're the captain of Crystal Palace and you've just gone out of the cup and you haven't bothered to take a penalty. I mean, I absolutely love Mark Gahey. I think he's one of the best defenders in the Premier League. I think England have got a real chance of winning the World Cup because we've finally found a centre-half who looks comfortable, can pass the ball, can defend as well. And then I'm looking at him here thinking, really? I'm absolutely blown away. He's got to have a chat with Eberichiesi as well. I mean, he should be devastated. Maybe he is inside, he's just not showing it, but I'm stunned by what I've seen by the Palace captain tonight.
Yeah, but I think he's a man of few emotions, isn't he? You know, he scored the goal that took it through to the penalties and he didn't show too many emotions. I think you know, look, I understand what you're saying. I don't know whether you're trying to imply he has agreed to sign for Arsenal again.
No, that was a joke. I mean, I don't know.
I know, but I just think everybody's different, Aid, and you know, where you score the last minute goal to take it to penalties and you would be running off down right from one end to the other towards the Crystal Palace fans. He doesn't, you know, and that's how he is, and that's how he keeps level-headed, and that's what makes him the player he is, I suppose.
I think in terms of him not taking a penalty, is that down to him? You and I have had long conversations with Stuart Pearce about the art of penalty taking, the amount of preparation that goes into it. I know that if you're preparing for an international team at a tournament, it is very different from preparing for a given scenario in a cup tie like this, where you're not quite so sure who you're going to have on the field necessarily. But he didn't take one. The only other Palace player that was going to take one was Nathaniel Klein, and if the odds and what they've done in practice shows that Lacroix is a better taker than Gahey, and he's 9th on the list out of merit, then why should they put him up the order simply because he's the captain? I appreciate the dynamic of this particular game, and Lacroix having scored an own goal and Gahey then having cancelled that out. I take all that on board, but you would imagine that there has been some signs gone into that decision why Lacroix has taken one at 8 and Gahey didn't take one until at least 9.
I've listened to Pearcey talk about it, and I've got nothing but total respect for him as a person, a man, a player, a manager, and the work that he would have gone into it. And I've heard him talking about number 1 and number 4 being sort of the absolutely key ones. I think once you get to 7 and past that, for me it's about mentality, how you're feeling in that particular moment. I took 3 penalties in my career. I scored 2 and missed 1. And the 2 that I scored, I volunteered to be in the top 5. The one that I missed, I was number 6. You know, I hit the target, but the keeper saved it. It wasn't a great penalty. So my point is, where I was feeling mentally for that one, I didn't put my hand up to be in the top 5. It wasn't the strongest of pens, whereas the other 2, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And actually one of those was the year after I missed as well, but I felt I had a good game. I was confident enough to do it. I'm looking around, people aren't putting their hands up, and Glenn Roeder, bless him, he wasn't sure when I did put my hand up, but you know, he was quite happy for me to go for it because I said I want to. and I scored. So I think 1 to 6, maybe even 7. You can do the practicing, you can do the having a look at who's really good and do the math. After that, it's about mentality and how that player's feeling. And I do agree with you, actually. As much as I'm talking about and I love him. I love him as a player. I love the way he is as a professional. But you want your captains to step up and say, do you know what, I'll take it here, and he didn't.
Scott Minto, thank you very much. The Gunners make it through. Let's head to Ali Pali, get a quick update from Ian Danta.
Michael Van Gerwen, the 3-time world champion, comfortably through to the round of 32 after seeing off the Magpie William O'Connor by 3 sets to 1. Much more like it from MVG, who was hesitant in round 1 but averaged over 100 in this one to see himself safely through. We've got one more match tonight. The World Cup winner from Northern Ireland, Josh Rock, takes on the lowest ranked competitor left in this tournament, the Aussie Joe Comito, and you can listen to that match over on the Talksport app, the Talksport Darts YouTube page, or on Talksport 2.
PDC World Darts Championship update on Talksport with Village Hotels. Hit the bullseye this New Year's Eve. Party at one of our New Year's Eve events. 34 locations across the UK. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Well, the Emirates is emptying out right now. We went to Pens tonight on TalkSport after a game which Arsenal largely dominated and should have really sorted it out by half-time. No worries for them. Arsenal did sort it out in the shootout. 8 perfect pens for the Gunners. Kepa finally went the right way and saved one, and Arsenal squeezed through to a semi-final with Chelsea. Lacroix missing the crucial penalty. At least it wasn't an Englishman who missed. Join me Boxing Day, 11 a.m. for a full day of EFL action before we bring you the only Premier League game on Boxing Day live on TalkSport. Man United take on Newcastle at 8 Boxing Day evening. Have yourselves a great Christmas. Keep it on TalkSport, and we will keep you company across the festive period. The Sports Bar is next. 03717 223344.